Metal Block, Metalheads, how we doing out there? Another beautiful day to get to sit down and talk metal with some friends. An awesome, brutal band, guys. Thanks for joining. Thanks for tuning in. Go check out the social medias, hang out with Brando, see what he's posting out there, find out what new music's up. He's putting those morning commutes out quite a bit, and we had some really good ones last week. So don't miss out. Lots of new bands if you hadn't had a chance, or if you're just sitting there and you're like, what am I going to listen to today? Hop on the block. We got lots of suggestions, and we're putting them out like crazy because we're doing our best to keep up. Music is happening every single day. It doesn't matter what genre you're hanging with, but still, metal is what we're here to talk about, and we have a show for you today. The exciting part, everybody, Wound Stench. Gonna be hanging with us tonight to talk about the brutality that they put out on tape for your listening pleasure. And I couldn't be more excited. This is my favorite time, everybody. Y'all know it. Brando knows it. Hopefully, the word's getting out. This is what we do. We're excited. Get freaking ready to buckle up. Brando, all yours. Fellas, thanks for being here.
Thank you for having us, bro.
Of course.
Hell yeah.
We lost Joe for a second, but
he'll hop back in.
Yeah, thank you for joining us today. What we love to do is to get started with, why don't you just tell everyone who you are and what you do with the band?
Israel, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. Izzy, do vocals in Wound Stench. You go ahead, Frank.
My name is Frank. A lot of people know me as Frank Gold. I play drums in Wound Stench, a bunch of other bands. I've been doing this thing with Joe since he moved to Houston in probably like 2014, maybe I think it was 2013. And it was under a different name before, Apocalyptic Noise Syndicate, but now we've transformed the band into the new unit that it is today with Israel on vocals. And honestly, it's a pretty good lineup. It's the best yet, I think.
When did you guys actually do the transition for your name? When did you guys rename the band?
We actually renamed the band not to. Oh, if I could take this one, Frank, if you don't mind.
It was at Mardi Grind. It was at Mardi Grind was when we decided to change the name.
Yeah.
It was when we announced it, which was on Valentine's Day, just this couple months ago.
Right. That's cool. That's awesome. I knew that was Izzy. Whenever we saw you down at the fest, and Brandon was talking about it, he was saying that was a pretty new. So I guess it was like a month after is when the fest was, after you guys had kind of made the announcement to move from Apocalyptic Noise to Wound Stench. So that's cool. Right here, everybody. This is new.
Yeah, definitely.
These guys
Definitely.
are reshaping everything to make the brutality what you want. So that's what's happening. Hey, Joe.
Okay, yeah, I'm sorry. I don't know, the connection dropped out or something. So, but I'm Joe, and I play guitar in Wound Stench, and I also play bass in Repugnant Consumption. I'm excited to be here.
And there you go. It happened again.
Any better. Did he do that
again?
Yeah. Did he do it on purpose?
Yeah.
I'm teasing.
Maybe
I don't think he did it on purpose.
it'll be like, a song, and he'll come right back in, like right on time, like right on measure. You know what I mean? He'll just pop back in and be like, maybe,
No, didn't work.
like, well,
Poor Joe.
Izzy, Frank, we love to start also after the introduction, which you just did. We love to find out your metal origin story. How did you what was your first experience getting into metal music, becoming interested in it, and then your journey into becoming a musician and playing metal music?
Holy shit, man.
you guys hear it?
That's a story for me. So how I started, man, I had this uncle who died a few years ago. Anyway, not like a sad thing. He was a fucking crackhead, but anyway, he's my uncle. But a long time ago, in the 80s when Rat was forming, this was the story that he told me. I mean, he could have been fucking lying at this point. He was a fucking crackhead, remember, like I said. But I don't think he was bullshitting. He was pretty good at drums. And And he was like, you know, he's always hanging around and partying with rock stars and shit back in the day from the stories I was told when fools would come through Houston and stuff. And he, I guess the guitarist from Rat was at one point like looking for a drummer before like he moved to California or whatever. I think Rat's from California. And then my uncle tried out and he didn't never really make it, right? And then so he always just had drums. And when I was a little kid, I would go to my fucking uncle's house and I would play drums. Like I would just hit them. I didn't like play them. I was like 7. I didn't know shit. And then I tried out for percussion in like middle school when I went to middle school because I wanted to do that instead of like sports or whatever. And then the band teachers like they just wanted to fill spots, so they said that like they wanted me to do this test, which was just like a hands like foot combination. And to this day, I probably wouldn't be able to do that fucking test, to be honest. And I've been playing drums for fucking ever at this point. But you know, I just do simple single stroke stuff. And you know, that wasn't what I was trying to do in band anyway. So they wouldn't let me play drums. They made me play French horn. And then, you know, after like 6 months of that, I quit that bullshit. And then a few years later, I was hanging around like one of my old friends that helped get me to play drums. A friend of mine, Nathan Hart, who passed away from like mouth cancer at like the age of 29, which is fucking tragic as fuck. But
That
yeah,
is
R.I.P.
tragic.
Nathan. Yeah. He fucking we were skateboarding and stuff when we were like 13 in the summer, and then he said, you should get some drums and we should start a band because we were all into punk and stuff. And then so naturally I get like a drum kit for my birthday, and then I just started fucking playing drums. I was listening to like Conflict and like I would play Metallica, like, but at this age when I was playing drums, I was into punk. I was like a little punk rock kid that was like skateboarding. And I would just like put headphones on and just try to make sense of it. And it was fucking garbage, obviously, you know, but eventually it started making sense. And me and Dave and Josh Wolf and Nathan, we started our first band. It was like Mob 47 meets the Wretched. Like it was fast and chaotic and, you know, sloppy meets Gigi Allen. Yeah, it was a fucking crazy band. It was called Glee. And yeah, from there we went on to do everybody else in the band went on to do other bands. And from there, you know, I got into like playing grindcore and blast beats and being in metal bands. And now I'm in a thrash metal band, grind bands, core grind band, like, you know, you name it. I try to touch base with a lot of different different genres of playing like, you know, extreme music with drums. I don't really do like sludge or slow stuff. That's not my thing, but you know, I dabble with a lot of extreme fast shit if it's punk or metal or grind or what have you. And that's probably my story. Oh, one thing is funny. My first show was Metallica and Suicidal Tendencies in probably 94, I think it was. Yeah, I was like
God
11. And I
damn.
remember seeing like Lars when they had like long hair still. It was like they were touring for the Black Album. And I remember being like, yeah, that's why I want to play drums. And like that right after that is when I went and tried out for like the band, like the middle school band shit. And they were like, nah. And then I just taught my son. So
Nice.
that's my whole origin story.
Hell yeah.
That's
But
cool too,
even
'cause
though I was like a little punk kid, I went to a Metallica show and I saw a metal drummer playing, and I was like, yeah, I want to play drums. And then you know, it just reminded me of like playing drums at my uncle's house, which you know, and then that's my whole fucking story on playing drums. You know?
that's a pretty cool thing because you got to see Rob playing bass for Suicidal
Yeah,
before he joined Metallica
that's
as
very
their
true.
bassist.
Yeah, and that was my first show.
That's cool, man. You know, like to think about that now because a lot of people don't realize that, well, maybe they do and it just doesn't get said as much, but Rob is their longest tenured bassist now, which is
Yeah,
really crazy. It's really crazy to think about that
yeah,
because,
that's
you know,
wow. Yeah,
Jason Newsted was such a, you know, staple in the band after Cliff left. And so, or not left, but after Cliff left us,
yes, the
you
planet.
know, yeah, the planet. And so, you know, just kind of neat to really see. I've always known that that connection was there, but you're the first person I've ever talked to that actually went and saw them play, you know, like that. And it's
Right.
just neat. It's just something I thought of whenever you said it. So it's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, cool. Man. Thanks. Yeah, it's a pretty crazy memory as like a child growing
Yeah, and the first show, like you said. I mean, you know, that's not to be taken lightly. Like, I took my son to see Megadeth for his first show, and I was like, "You'll get to say Megadeth's your first show, dude. Like, it's cool."
That's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Frank's not capable of sitting still. I was just gonna say, let me add that.
Oh yeah, no, I'm fucking moving around all the time, man.
Well, that's why he's
Yeah.
in, you know, like all the other drummers. He's in like 20 bands, you know, because that's what good drummers do. They play in lots of bands because everybody needs them. Everybody needs them.
Yeah, everybody
You'd be in
needs 'em.
more. Don't pretend like you hadn't been asked to be in more. You just,
Oh,
you
yeah.
had to stop.
He
There's
probably
another one in the
has a
works right
gig
now.
later.
Yeah, no shit, man.
Exactly.
He's at a gig
Exactly.
right now. This is just a hologram. Well, Izzy, lay it on us, man.
Yeah.
What's your metal origin story? How did you get into metal music, and then how did you, get into playing it after that?
Okay. Well, the difference between me and Joe and Frank is that I'm just a little bit younger than them, so there's like a small generational gap. I grew up in more of what you would call like the mallcore era of like heavier music, of even of like extreme music. Like, I remember buying like Converge and like Carnifex at like Hot Topic when I was like a kid. You know what I mean? And I grew up in that era, and it was like I liked I come from like a really big Hispanic family, and it's like I have a lot of older brothers and sisters, and when I was younger was like they were older, and it was the early 2000s, and they were into like kind of just like punk and like just your basic like Blink 182 and like stuff like that. So I kind of got into that because my older siblings were into that, and it was like you could go to a show, but you had to take your little brother, and I was like the little brother. So I would go to shows like that, and it was kind of like eventually my siblings kind of grew out of that, but I didn't, and I was just like more into I yeah, like I didn't want to fucking play like baseball or like football. I would have much rather just like go to a show, or I'd rather play, or I'd rather like, oh, I don't know if you're losing me. Is it there? Wait. Am I back? Wait, am I back now?
You're
Oh
back. You're
shit.
Okay.
back.
You were the
Do
little
you
brother.
want
is what you
do
were.
you want me to do you want me to finish? Do you want me to finish, or do you want
Yeah,
Joe to
yeah.
get started?
Carry on, brother.
Okay.
Carry
Let's
on.
So
Carry on, little
anyways,
brother.
I was more concerned with like finding guitar tabs on Ultimate Guitar Tab than like, going to homecoming or playing football or like anything like that. And as the years went on, like I was way more into, spending time on Ultimate Guitar Tab and finding out how to play songs. And as time went on, I would just tune heavier and learn heavier stuff. And before you know it, I was just into like, much heavier stuff. And it was like originally I remember I got into grindcore because one of my sister's friends like brought over his like band's demo, and like my sister fucking hated it. Like she couldn't stand it, and I listened to it and I thought like to myself like this is absurd, but I like how absurd it is. I like how like not how bad it is, but I was like, I like how chaotic it is. And like I found myself kind of like going back and like listening to that album, and I was kind of like I was a kid on the internet in the early 2000s, so the next day I was like, what is grindcore? What are more local grindcore bands? What grindcore bands are from Houston? And I'm like click 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 click, and like before I know it, I'm like finding stuff like 50/50, PLF, uh, and then like I get into obviously like I have a different experience because I'm younger than Joe and Frank. Like they were there. You know what I mean? They had more of a punk experience. Of course I was going to shows, but when it came to like more extreme genres like that, I kind of learned about it more through the internet just because I was younger. But then before I knew it, I went to go like check out like a PLF. I think I went to a house show. Dave played like a house show. It was a PLF show, and man, like I just kind of got hooked on grindcore ever since. Just because I'd always really liked like when you kind of push the boundaries of music and stuff like that. So like but yeah, but like to get back to the journey myself, I played guitar in like a grind band when I was like, like 16, 17, and then nobody wanted to play grind because just the time of just the era. So I think I played in like two deathcore bands. And then I was like, I don't want to do this. I was like, I'd rather do vocals like in grind because I kind of realized that I was better. I was a better guitar player than I was like, or I was a better vocalist than I was a guitar player. I was just kind of like an okay guitar player. Like I wasn't really great at I wasn't great at writing. I could just learn how to play stuff fast. Like I could just like if you taught me your material, I could just learn it like that. So I just kind of switched to vocals and I was in a band. I was in kind of like more of like a thrashy metalcore band in like I'd say the early 2010s. And then we actually had a hiatus because one of our members actually passed away in his sleep, and we just kind of we went on hiatus for a bit, and then we just kind of like I just kind of like chose to step away from heavy music for a moment because I guess just that the pain of losing somebody that you were in a band with was just kind of like way too much. So I just kind of like chose to stay away from heavy music, but like, we all go through that phase where we're like in our early 20s where we get like a haircut and we try to get like a regular job and we're like, okay, I'm gonna try to be like a regular guy. And you do that for like a year and you're like, yeah, this fucking sucks. Fuck this. Like I'm going back. Like, So I went back and got into photography and kind of used that as a gateway to getting back into music as a whole. And I don't want to take up too much time because we got Joe back, so I'll let Joe go next.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, damn, dude. Like,
Sorry, bro. Sorry, bro.
Love
I'm
it.
telling
Love
the
Oh,
it.
whole.
that's awesome. That's awesome.
That's why we're
I
here.
was
We're
gonna
here to
say
learn what you got.
Frank probably had a more interesting story. So, but Joe will have a great one
I
too.
missed it, unfortunately.
I like the segue from, getting into the shit and then getting out and then using photography. And now look, yeah, you're taking pictures of bands and you're back into the shit, like singing. You're doing like, they're always doing guest vocals, I noticed, for bands and shit.
Oh
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
it's like
And
that's
you
something.
wouldn't have like made those friendship with those bands and those bands wouldn't let you do that unless you were a cool ass dude, like
Right?
being real with them and shit and like,
Yeah.
make
Oh
friends.
yeah,
So that is
like
pretty cool, to be honest.
that last
Yes.
band I did guest vocals with was a band I had toured with, and it was like they were like the band who like at the end of the night we were like pissed drunk together and like stumbling into the van and like laughing. You know what I mean? So yeah, I guess you're right about that. Definitely, definitely.
Didn't
Exactly.
you you did a guest vocal spot at the Gulf Coast Death Fest this year, didn't you?
Yeah,
Am I
I did
remembering that
one with
correctly?
I want to say I did one with Sanity Slip with
Yeah.
them for that. They were doing that Waking the Cadaver cover and I couldn't help myself. I love that song. So
Nice.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
thank you.
you're being in the music and then finding a way back in, like it's motivational, like Zoomy and I are sort of in a similar to that. Like we used to play in a band together a long time ago through college and stuff. And then neither of us did anything for quite some time. And we were like, you know what? We want to be involved with metal. So we started this podcast so we could hang out with guys like
Exactly.
you all and get back
Exactly.
into it. So like just it was like something was missing in our lives. And then, it's like kept my day job, but this has gotten us reconnected with a long time passion. So it's been a blessing, really. It's awesome. So
Yeah.
Everybody.
you had photography for that, like that's great.
And you have to like listen to yourself, and that's exactly what you had kind of said right there. Is you went out, you tried doing other stuff, but that pain that you had felt that kind of pulled you away from metal, like still the feelings of metal were still so strong. Like you gravitated back toward it. There was just some healing that actually had to take place. We
Yeah.
fortunately didn't have to go through tragedy. Um,
Yeah.
but I will say this. whenever you're talking to each other multiple times a week, because we've stayed in touch for, gosh, we've been buddies for 30 years, you know? And so
Of
we've been
course.
staying in touch and we'll talk every day. And it takes so many times of hearing yourself say, man, I really miss this, or I really wish we could do that still, before you finally are like, all right, enough's enough, you know, like this is what we're called to do. Like this is where our
Yeah.
heart's at, this is where our passion's at. And so we were like, you know what? This is our band. This is our band right now. You know, this is going to be how we get back into the scene. This is going to be how we, you know, visit and just build relationships with others that are like us. Because I do accounting, and I'd went and sat in an office for all those years, and like Brandon said, something's missing, right?
It
Something's
gets
missing for a
fucking
long,
boring.
long time.
I don't
Yeah.
know if you guys are big Soprano fans, but I'm always talking about the regularness of life. I'm like, it's too much for me, bro. Like having to go to the same place and do stuff like the same shit. It's just like, you know, and then when he's like, you know, just when I thought I was out, bro, they pull me back in, bro. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Me and Joe joke a lot about The Sopranos, and our joke in our band is that we joke about The Sopranos. Frank asks what the joke is about. We tell Frank it's a Sopranos joke. Frank is the drummer and he can't sit still, so he never actually watches The Sopranos, and then it just loops back to me making a soprano. It's just like I said, it's a snake that eats its own ass. It just goes around in a circle and a circle. You
Yeah,
know?
they'll be making some joke like, "What are y'all talking about?" They're like, "Oh wait, Sopranos." I don't know what the fuck. And then it's like, and then it just goes back around to the next show, exactly like you said. Yep.
Yeah.
That's hilarious. Hey, do you know that that's originally Godfather 3 though?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Of course. Like that's something I'd like to talk to later after we give Joe a chance to introduce himself, was the way that the way that I would say film influences my writing and my medium. But yeah, we'll go ahead and hear from Joe. We've heard enough from me.
The stranger, Joe.
Welcome to the podcast, Joe. So now we all know you're Joe, and you like to go in and out and stuff. Tell us, what do you do with band?
I do.
How did you get into metal music, and how did you start playing metal music? Like your origin story.
Okay, so my first actual introduction just to like metal music, I remember being, so my older sister used to listen to like Bon Jovi and like Motley Crue and Def Leppard, and I remember being like 5 or 6 years old, and she had like Dr. Feelgood on cassette. So I just remember seeing it, and I was just kind of like, man, what is this? Because you know, it's got the cover with like the demon looking like sword, like the like dragon body. So that was my first like introduction just to that type of music, just from seeing that. And I didn't really even get seriously like into music until like obviously they're like middle school. So for me, I know it's corny as it sounds, but Kiss and Metallica were actually the first things that like wanted me to like start playing in like music or like guitar. I still remember getting like this cheap acoustic. Remember asking for it for like Christmas. And my mom got it for me and just thought that I was gonna like kind of like strum on it maybe a couple times, and then just that was gonna be like the end of it. But lo and behold, here we are all these years later, all these different bands I've been in. And it kind of just like kept kind of obviously like progressing. So I kind of was like in the beginning, like of like the internet stage. So it's not like how now it's like so prevalent and like that's how a lot of people like discover music. But for me, it was like kind of a combination of that. And then looking in like guitar magazines and in like Metal Maniacs. And we didn't have internet in my house. So like I would just kind of like get like I would buy like CDs, like blank CDs. And I had a buddy of mine, and I would just like look at these bands. I would just like look at their like we know what the description was, and I'm like, okay, I want to like check this out. So hey, can you find me a song for this? And that's how I first heard like Cannibal Corpse and like Deicide and Cradle of Filth and like all these types of bands. But I guess we're gonna talk about like grindcore stuff. The first grindcore stuff I actually remember hearing. So I'm actually originally from Tampa. So like the first couple bands I remember hearing was there was this local band Vomit Spawn they used to play, and like they were fucking crazy. They actually got banned from the Brass Mud because they like the singer just like went like got really drunk and just like destroyed like the venue essentially. Um, but it was hilarious because they got banned for that, but their other bands would still play there, and like they just like wouldn't know. Exhumed actually got banned from there too, because their
I
bass
love
player,
that
like
venue.
threw up
What a
all
great
over.
venue.
Yeah, he threw up all over like the speakers or something, and like damaged it. So yeah, that was why they got banned too. Um, but anyway, so the first couple of grindcore, I remember hearing from Enslavement to Obliteration, like Napalm Death. And I was just, man, what the fuck is this? Because it was just so crazy. All the songs were really short. And then, you know, obviously hearing like Vomit Spawn, like Pig Destroyer and Ass Suck and all that. I just kind of kept like going on. And then I wanted to like start playing in bands, playing in a bunch of bands in Tampa, playing bands in Jacksonville. And I actually got in touch with Frank through the internet. And I finally made the decision after so much time. I was like, oh, I'm gonna move to Houston. I just remember talking to Frank about it like before, and I don't think he was like thought I was like serious about it. But then at some point I
I
was like,
thought
hey man,
full of shit.
yeah.
I was like, nah, he's not gonna move here. And then a year would go by, and then he finally said, "Hey, I'm gonna move there. I'm looking at apartments in this area." And then I was like, "Oh, he's serious."
Yeah.
But yeah, and then yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So
Go ahead, Joe.
so then I ended up moving, you know, took the move, and then yeah, me and Frank we've been jamming pretty much since I've been like living here. So it's been like 10 years.
When was that? Was that 14?
No, it was 2016.
Oh shit, I was off. Okay, 2016.
Yeah, it's 2016. Yeah. So I moved here, and then yeah, we started off well, I already was in Apocalyptic Noise Syndicate. I was doing it in Florida. But the people I was doing it with, I mean, like much respect to them. We did get some recordings, and like I still love those guys, but they just weren't like super serious about it. Um so then I was like, okay, well, like I want to like do this, like I want to play shows, I want to go on tours. Um I don't know, Frank's legit, so that's why I came over here, just moved over, and yeah, I've been doing a whole bunch of stuff and a whole bunch of other bands since I've been in here too. So yeah,
It's been good.
that's my story, I guess.
Joe's
We did
other
have a little
band.
hiatus for a few years too, though. So we had a
We
little
were
break.
on hiatus for a little while. I wouldn't say I tried to do like the regular job thing, but I just needed a break from music for a little bit. So I took like a little break, but it wasn't long after, and then I was back into it. So here we are.
It's like 2.5 years and something. Yeah, and
Yeah.
now we're back.
I was gonna say Joe's other band, Repugnant Consumption, is like crazy heavy. Like if y'all ever get the chance, y'all should definitely check that out. That's grindcore for people who love grindcore. Like you have to really like grindcore to like that band.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
Frank quote. Yeah. If
Yeah.
you really like them, so I'm gonna listen to the consumption. It's like
Yeah, like it's not. I remember, like for example, I took some because I do photography. I work with a lot of people from a lot of different genres, and like for my birthday a few years ago, I was like, we should all go to the Swan and we should watch Repugnant Consumption. And it's like I have friends that don't really watch or listen to grindcore, like listening to Joe's band, and it's just like a wall of noise with like pitch shifted vocals, and my friends are like. And I'm like, bro, isn't this great? Isn't this sick? And they're just like, they just have like no idea what to think of it just because it's so heavy and it's so like, it's just so absurd, you know?
yeah, your friend probably didn't have a good time. So
It didn't matter. It
That's
was my
awesome.
birthday, so it didn't matter. It was my birthday, so.
right.
That's right. That is right.
It's my party. I'm gonna grind if I want to, bro.
I was
Like,
trying to
I love
find a way
that.
to work that song in, man. You beat me. Good
yeah,
job.
yeah. I'm quick
Oh,
draw
that's
McGraw,
awesome.
bro. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
man. You got it. You got it. No, that's awesome. That's it's pretty cool, guys. One of my favorite parts is definitely hearing, you know, how everybody got into metal. Every story's totally different, but yet we all still share so many similarities. Um, you know, picking up and moving though, Joe, like that takes some dedication, right? That's not just finding some guys like that live by you. You know, that's like going and seeking out the musicians you want to play with and you going and making, you know, that move and that change so that you can do that, right? Like you created your environment in a way. instead of just taking what you had, which is really neat because I think, whenever you talk about how music, just grows and changes from that first little idea, that's the kind of passion that you actually need in a group. I mean, you got to have the talent, you got to be able to play the instrument, but you got to have that passion too, to be able to go in because it's a grind, right? I mean, it's not easy to go out there and just make good music. Um, it takes a lot of careful thought. It takes some accidents to happen, some good luck, right? Because you're like, oh, look what I found out last night. I wasn't planning on, writing something like this. I was just messing around and I came up with this. And then you start working it into something you're trying to write and trying to create. And so to me, like that is the most exciting part about metal is learning about how it became what we get to hear, you know? And I just love hearing that, man. And picking up and moving takes such dedication. And man, kudos to you because it's not always going to work either, right? I mean, in
Yeah,
this case, you've got, a good group of homies you get to hang out with and you've built those relationships and now you guys have the bond. But it might not always go the way you wanted it to. We've all probably joined and played with some people before that it didn't last long. I have.
Yeah,
boy.
I mean, like, well, because like I remember, like I said, I remember just from Tampa, but I actually moved to Jacksonville first because like there was some other people up there. There was no one really playing like grind in Tampa. Like there was a couple people, but they were kind of just very tight knit. So I was like, okay, I'll move to Jacksonville. These people seem pretty cool. But again, things just weren't going like they just really weren't going like anywhere. So it's kind of just like anything else. Like if you want to do the shit, like you just got to put that effort forward. And like if you're really about it, like you're gonna do it. So that's my advice to all these like young kids. I don't want to it's like an old man, but like, yeah, I mean, if you want to do this kind of stuff, it's gonna take. I mean, it takes time, it takes patience. I mean, I've jammed with like a whole bunch of people. Like I said, I've learned even in the negative experiences, I've like learned things. Um, so yeah, I mean, that's pretty much kind of like my like thought on that.
That's wisdom, brother. You
Yeah.
are getting old.
I was at a show last night in Houston, and it was like a punk show. And me and my bass player and my thrash metal band Matt, we were like the oldest guys at the show, and like everybody's like super young, and we were like, man, yeah, we're like older than everybody by like 15, 20 years. And yeah, we were talking to some other like younger homies that we know about like how the bands we were watching, they were calling it power violence, and it's just like the younger generation with how they, I don't know, it's just a weird new thing with the younger generation and the way they classify the genres that they're playing. It's like it's not like this isn't a power
when
violence band,
Frank's
it's just
like,
a
this isn't
thrashy
power
hardcore
violence
band,
at all, yeah, when Frank is like, God damn it, this isn't power violence,
And then and then we're sitting there like explaining this, and we're like, damn, we're like the fucking old guys here at the fucking show, like looking like dicks, and they're just having a good time, which we're there having a good time, but it's like, it's not that. It's still cool, but it's not that. Like, it's not like you're gonna start a fucking, like, oh, we're Lit Biscuit, right? But then we're gonna claim that we're like a hip hop band. You know what I mean? It's not like
Yeah,
that. Like,
right.
let's get real. Like, let's call it what it is. It's still fucking cool. We're all here to have a good time, but let's get it right. Is was my point I'm trying to say.
It is encouraging though to see the kids that are 15, 20 years younger
Yeah,
than us still
still
out there,
cool.
like, or not
Yeah,
still out there, but coming out and going to the shows.
that's cool.
I've always thought to myself, I'm like, these kids today, but I don't know, they still can rock out and play some brutal music. And I've found that with listening or being on the show, because I'll listen to something I might not have listened to before it. I'm like, after I listen to stuff 3 or 4 times, I'm like, hey, that's pretty good. These guys are doing really good. And especially if they've got the drums and they've got these vocals that grab me. Those are the things that really grab me a lot. The guitar is a lot of secondary. For me, is I'll realize after I've listened to it 2 or 3 times, I'm like, I really like what the guitar is doing here, and I didn't even notice that at first. sometimes though digesting music takes you breaking it up into pieces so that you can, kind of make sense of what you're hearing, especially if it's complicated, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes you need that second listen.
Yeah,
four
and
four
this
or
is
five for me, brother. I'm a little slow.
and we're at a show live watching the band for the first time, so you're deciphering live at like a venue with a huge
Right.
screening, and the sound isn't the best, but it's still cool and punk as fuck.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
It's
That's
like big
cool, man.
energy, big good vibes. Like the show was sick.
People still wearing their like battle vests at punk shows.
Dude, yeah, of course, yeah.
Hell yeah,
Go-
man.
Absolutely.
I don't see as much of them anymore. You know?
You
I
gotta
went
go
to
the show.
Well, I went and saw the Circle Jerks and the Descendants play. Gosh, it might have been right before Christmas, so it's probably been a little while now. But I was surprised. I was like, "Where are all my punk jackets, man? Like their battle vests are even different than usually the metalheads like battle vests because metalheads will just put their patches everywhere. Man, those punk guys, they'll like or girls, whatever, whoever's wearing them, like they like design their shit. You know what I mean? Like it's like
Yeah.
somebody took like a neon green Sharpie and like drew a big back piece and then they patched it up and studded it up after that, so I always like really like seeing some of those punk vests and punk jackets, but I didn't see as much at that show. So that's why I asked that question.
Man,
Yeah.
I was actually telling somebody the other day that I have like a mortician bag patch and I was gonna put it on the back of like an Adidas jacket because I know nobody's like ever done that before. And I was like, I know this will be like a pioneer type shit. And then I was telling somebody that I wanted to get like I know this company that they'll make like jewelry and they'll put like a picture and like a charm for you. And I was like, man, I gotta get like molesting the decapitated from Devourment or like, something crazy like that and put it on a chain and just like I know nobody would have that. People would be like, damn, that dude's crazy. He has a fucking MDB chain, you know what I mean? I'd be like, I know even the guys in Devourment don't even have this, you know? I mean, that'd be crazy.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Yeah, nowadays you can actually do that as long as there isn't anybody that's going to be like, "Oh, I can't make that logo because it, like copyrights and
Exactly,
stuff." But
exactly.
but yeah,
I
metal
I
bands,
don't
you get a
think
little
I
yeah.
I don't think Ruben's gonna sue me, so I think we'll be fine,
Yeah, you'll probably be fine.
Hopefully,
Yeah,
hopefully.
yeah. I think you'll be all right, man. That's pretty cool. I think in metal, I think you would be like, "Hell yeah, I want everybody wearing those now."
Yeah, yeah,
You know?
maybe it could be a thing. Maybe it could be a thing, you know what I mean?
For
Definitely.
sure, man. Yeah, dude. That's awesome, man. I love it. I love hearing all that stuff.
But just going back to these like what you're saying too about these like younger kids, yeah, I mean, yeah, they gotta like they gotta keep coming, like showing up to the shows because I mean, obviously at some point, like we're not gonna be alive forever, and that's kind of like I feel like the death knell when you see like less kids at the shows because then it's kind of like oh they're like not really into this anymore. I mean, there's like I said, there's like a ton of bands here, there's a ton of bands in like Austin. There's like a whole like slew of like grind bands coming out in Austin, which I remember when like I first moved here. I mean, Frank obviously like definitely knows too, but like a lot of we play Austin, but like there isn't like that many like fast bands like over there. There was like punk, there was like death metal and like some black metal stuff, and some of those like those bands were cool, but like straight up just like grind stuff like wasn't really like a thing. And like now like I'm kind of seeing more of those like bands like popping up, like got like Blasted Kiss and like Pain God and all that stuff. So and like I said, there's probably like there's Metaragia too, and like Purge Liquids, there's a bunch of gore grind stuff over there. So it's cool, man. I mean, I'm glad. I mean, like they're all touring, like all these kids are like actually getting up and like touring and like Pain God. I mean, goddamn, I feel like every time I talk to Blaine, like they're always doing some kind of like little run, like or they're doing like we're going to this fest in LA, or we got 2 weeks here. And I mean, it's good to see that. It's good to see the motivation because dude, I know so many people that have been in bands and it's like they'll talk, there's like they talk the talk about it. Like they're like, oh, we're gonna do all that, and like they don't do shit. Like they don't do anything. And it's a shame too, because it's like some of these bands, like they were cool, but it's like they just didn't do it, whether it was like drug stuff that came up, or maybe they just didn't have the motivation. But I think the biggest thing is fear. I think people are afraid to actually fail or like at least try. I feel like if you tried and you failed, at least you tried. but like they don't even want to like do the failure part, so they just like don't try at all. And I mean, who knows, man? They could be killer fucking bands, coming out like that we never heard of. So, but yeah.
Yeah, so true. You're probably right. Failure factors into a lot of it, especially if you make friends among the scene. I could see people being like, yes, we're gonna go out and try this, but then like maybe they're not received like they want to be received, and it's demotivating for them because these are their friends and these are they what did I once read a thing that said guys don't play guitar to impress girls, they play guitar to impress other guitar players, like other guys usually. So I mean there's probably a little bit of that factors in some on that failure, because I know with me, a lot of times, if I'm like afraid because I don't really know the path or the right steps to get somewhere, sometimes I don't do it, right? Sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe it'll just work itself out. And I'm not just talking about music. I'm talking about just anything that kind of comes up. It's a challenge, and it's like something I really want to do. It's like you want to get there, but sometimes the journey to get there is either too big for a person. And then there's some people, man, they go out and they can like make band after band, or like I got a buddy who does fishing. I know this isn't a fishing show, but he goes out and buys like new stuff for his boat all the time and takes stuff off his boat and puts new stuff on his boat. And I'm thinking to myself, well, if I spent that much on a boat, I probably wouldn't be trying to take it apart. Like, I mean, that's just me, but he has no fear in doing that whatsoever. He's going to mod it out and make it better. Same thing with probably an expensive guitar. If I went out and bought a brand new guitar, spent thousands of dollars on that guitar, I probably wouldn't want to go home and just pull out the screwdriver and start taking it apart. But there's people out there that do that, and they find something, and they discover something that maybe nobody else could just because they tried.
That kind of sounds like us listening to the latest mixes of our versions of our mix like for the thousandth time. You know what I mean? That sounds like what we've been doing lately.
Oh yeah, I get a little brain numb from it too, right?
Oh yeah, a little bit, but this new mix is perfect almost. Almost. We're almost there. You know what I mean? You know when you get to the point where you like something is almost perfect, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a good feeling, right? Because you can see that light and you're excited about what you
Yeah.
created. So, man, that's what we should do. We should switch over and start talking about what you guys are working on right now. And yeah, let's just start talking about Wound Stench, man.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I'll let Joe get started with just like riff work and all that, and then we'll talk about lyrics and stuff like that and all that. So I'll let Joe get started with like his writing process and all that.
Oh,
That'd be
so
awesome.
Yeah.
with the question, or what do you what do
Lay
you
it
want to
on
know?
us. Well, yeah. What is your all's like creative process like?
So pretty much how it's been. Until obviously like recently, like because I've been pretty much like the vocalist on like all the recordings in the past, back when we were like Apocalyptic Noise Syndicate and everything. But pretty much how it always starts off is just like I'll come up with like riffs at home, and then I'll bring it to practice, and me and Frank pretty much like kind of lay like the foundation down of like what we're gonna do. um and sometimes obviously like things kind of change, because like, hey, like let's shorten this part up a little bit, or let's like maybe add something to it. But the music's always first, so the music will come first. Then I'll usually think about like titles or ideas that I kind of have. And then I'll kind of like build like the lyrics and just all that stuff, and like the patterns pretty much like just around like the riffage pretty much, and the drums and all that stuff, and like bass parts and all that. So yeah.
Yeah, Joe will like record like himself playing guitar, just guitar, like quiet in his apartment or whatever, and then he'll like send that to like the group chat. And then like, I'll listen to it and get an idea of like what will happen. And just like he said, like we'll go through these riffs at practice, and we can like, vary or change whatever we feel like changing. And I don't know. It seems like a normal process that a lot of bands would do. The only thing it is I think a lot of bands use like a drum machine these days to like figure out how songs are gonna go and like have like a format in that way already like mapped out, which is cool and that works great. But what Joe's, yeah, just like Joe said, it's like there's a lot of leeway in like, you know, being like fluid in like which way we want the song to go. We'll play the song a certain way for like a month, and then we could change something down the line where we'll like play this part like twice as long, or take half of it away, shit like that. Or we'll add a whole different part, like a little segue section. But and then figuring out where like the voice processor vocals go and shit like that in the past. And but now that we got Israel, uh, how is that going to go? Are you going to continue to write vocals, or is Israel going
Well,
to
I
like
mean,
write the lyrics for like all the newer stuff?
well,
I
I
don't know.
would
I
say
don't even know if we
on
talked about that, to be honestly.
I would say like on all of the newer songs, like I've written all the lyrics on the newer songs. I'll send them to Joe and he'll kind of like edit them down or kind of change this to that or this to that. And he'll give me that. And then I'll take that and kind of fit that into the song. And it's one of those deals where like, if I feel like I need help, or if I feel like my patterns are too repetitive or too predictable, or if like I'm just like, you know what, I could use a second opinion on this, then I'll ask Joe, or I'll be like, hey Joe, what do you think I should do here? And like Joe's one of my favorite things about working with Joe is like he's always like very quick to help, and he's very quick to like make time to help me. Whereas like when I've been in bands with other people in the past, they're kind of like, that's kind of just your job. You figure it out. You know what I mean? Which is fine, but it's always a lot more fun when it's collaborative and it's like, wow, me and Joe wrote this song together. And then like, I have this
Yeah,
joke with Joe
I didn't
about
even know
how
y'all did it like that. That's pretty cool. I didn't know
like, I mean, you're just backed up playing drums, dude, you know, like, but,
that.
no, but me and Joe will have this joke about how like it's easier for me to remember the lyrics that I actually wrote than for me to sit there and memorize what he wrote. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
Yeah,
Yes, that does make sense.
Yeah,
I
for
always
sure.
thought, like these I don't know, like whenever you're doing a karaoke or just singing a song and you realize you don't know the words. I always thought to myself, like, are there any people that ever wrote their own vocals who accidentally sing the wrong words, But it was just because of that comment you just made, because I'm like, oh well, they wrote it. That's why they never forget it. But
Yeah, but
I'm not saying that.
I still
when I
forget it.
first joined, I had to learn 14 songs just that were 14 songs new that I didn't write, and that was I wouldn't say it was like a challenge. It was definitely fun, but it was like it was a big load of homework. And it was like I have friends in like porno grind bands or gore grind bands, and it's like they don't have any words. They're just up there making noises. And I was just like, damn, bro, you guys get to have so much fun, and I got all this homework I gotta do, you know?
time to study up.
Yeah.
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 So, do you guys get to play together often? Like, you guys get to jam in person like a lot?
At least once a week.
Yeah, we jam once a week. Sometimes we'll skip a week if we're like busy, or like last week I think we skipped because Joe had like a show the day before, right? And then so like he was gonna chill, like, do his like adult duties at night that he didn't get to do on Monday or whatever.
My
Which is
adult
fun. It was just cool
Or
because you know what I mean, or
or
whatever.
there'll be like a
It was
week
like,
where maybe Frank
yeah.
has something this week, or or there's a lot of like I was explaining to somebody the other day. I was like, I think Frank like practices like what, maybe like 4 out of 7 days a week, like five, maybe seven. I was like, man, dude, like I was like, damn, that dude just going to band practice like every fucking day, man.
I
I'm
do
over
go to
here
bar
like,
practice almost every day. Um and that was another thing. We used to practice on Sundays, and Sundays was like, there's like, I'm in all these bands. So if one of my bands has a show, or if I have two shows, and then we're trying to practice on Sunday, but then it's in the middle of the week of the day, and then it's like, I can't get nothing done. Then I got to get done on a Sunday, and so yeah, we start practicing during the week now, which has been cool. Otherwise, we would be at fucking practice right now, and we would all be together having to worry about just one Wi-Fi fucking up. You know what I mean? Because this is the time that we practice.
That's cool that you guys get to play together once a week. Like it's refreshing to hear. There's so many projects that are even guys in the same city. It's like scheduling it all so hard. Everything is so virtual these days. It's like just like this podcast is, but like the four
Yeah.
of us are in Houston. We're still, virtually hanging out and like people recording music at home and sending it to each other, like to write, and then not getting to play until just for like a week before a show or a festival or some sort of experience. So, it's just life gets so busy. It's hard for a lot of folks. It's so cool that you guys to have that equal connection, because in my opinion, there's not really anything like getting together in the same space and playing live together, even just to practice. Like so much comes out of that. So I
I
think that's
think like the live aspect is like a really big part of like our music. We're like in the age of like internet bands, like we're very much like a live band. We very much bring that kind of vibe to grindcore. Like we played a while back with kind of like a mixed bill band, kind of some death metal, and like we had a lot of people tell us like y'all are a straight up grindcore band. Like y'all are quoted, y'all are a black and white grindcore band, like no nonsense. And I was like, I mean, I love good gore grind. I love grind I love grind that's a little silly, or I love grind that's a little more punk, or I love grind, but they were like, man, y'all are a straight up grindcore band. You know what I mean? And I think
That's how you know
that's
you made it. We're succeeding.
yeah,
there you
yeah,
go.
Definitely.
Like
that
repugnant
we're
consumption. Yeah, like, if you don't like grindcore really, you're not gonna like that band. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Right.
If you don't like straightforward grindcore, you're not gonna like our band. And like
Yeah,
sometimes
perfect.
we play in front of kids that like it's like they want a mosh, but it's like, damn, they don't know. It's like they'll wait. I'll just be waiting. I'll just be sitting there. I'll just be doing vocals, and I'll just be waiting, watching them wait for a part, and that part will hit. And as soon as that part hits, they all run out there and start two-stepping, or they all run out there and start, swinging their arms or whatever it is they want to do, because it's like they're waiting for that meat and potatoes riff, but I'm like, brother, you're gonna have to that comes like very few and far in between. You know what I mean? Because like
We
a
don't
lot
have
of
many of those parts.
a lot of our music is just like a vicious assault of like a war of attrition. It's just like blast over blast over blast, and it's like uh it's like bombing a city just like over and over. You know what I mean? Like there's nothing left. There's nothing left there, but we're still bombing the city, and it's just
What an
like,
analogy. Holy
you know what
shit.
I mean? It's just like it's like if you just kept bombing Dresden over and over, even though it's already been bombed. You know what I mean? It's like, not to say that we're beating a dead horse, you know what I mean? But like I've had other friends tell me like, God, your band is like punishing to watch. Like y'all just like don't stop. And I'm just like, yeah, I know. I'm the one doing vocals. I'm trying to fucking breathe the whole fucking time. I'm aware that we're not stopping, you know?
That's one of the things I've always loved about grindcore is like the breakdowns are few are like the mosh riffs are like few and far between, where they're like you just hit this groove or this like rhythm for people to
But they're
actually
earned.
mosh to. But man, when it hits so hard. And it's what's funny is like it's because it's grindcore, so it's short. So like you wait all this time and then it hits, and it hits for like 3 bars, and then you're like "Shit, are they gonna go back to that?" Like, no, they're not. I hope you got
No,
it in,
no.
because that was it. That was but it was it's like it's so juicy when it happens, but it makes it that much cooler and heavier when it hits with grindcore versus like
Oh
the
yeah.
genres where it's just that like nonstop. Eventually, you just kind of like okay, it doesn't have as much of an impact anymore. With grindcore, when that part hits, it
Yeah.
just hits so hard and then it grabs me. It's like, fuck yes.
When
I
when
I
Joe
agree.
when Joe gives you a beefy meat and potato riff, like as he'll throw it away as quick as it comes. You know what I mean? And then we'll go right into a blast. Then we'll go right to Blast City, and you're like, they're bombing the city again. You're like, dude, the city's already like fucked. You know what I mean? It's like
Just you
you
still
couldn't
gotta
give
keep
us,
them on their toes a little bit, you know?
yeah, you know what I mean? It's like you guys couldn't give us one more measure of that groove riff, and we're like, nah, bro, we're going back to Blast City. You got to earn that. You got to earn that next groove. You know what I mean?
You gotta be ready for it when it hits.
Should have been ready. You should have been ready.
Yeah,
You know?
You want to hear it again? Come see us next time.
That's right.
yeah,
Pretty much.
That's
yeah.
right. That's
I'm a big fan of us playing just like a tight 25 or a tight 20 instead of like a full 30, and just making the kids being like, "What the fuck was that?" You know what I mean?
I don't even think it's 20.
Hey, Joe, say that again, Joe. I couldn't hear you.
I don't think it's 25 minutes. It's like probably solid like 17 or 18 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
Hey, that works, man.
Our new set is super fast.
Brandon, which was the Rotten Sound album? Was that the last one that they came out with? And it was like 18 minutes long or something like that. And it was,
Oh,
God, I want to say it's like 20 tracks and it's like 18 minutes long. You're like, that doesn't even average to a minute a song, you know?
man.
I'm going to have to look it up while he's talking.
Yeah.
Those are my favorite records. So every song is under a minute.
Yeah.
I like to like if I'm gonna wash a load of laundry, I'll be like, time to listen to 3 of my favorite grindcore albums back to back. You know what
There
I
you
mean? I'll be
go.
like, damn. Or if I'm putting it in the dryer, I'm like, I'll put it in there for 20 minutes and I'll be like, man, time to listen to 2 of my favorite albums. You know?
So
That's perfect.
I would love to know who are some of y'all's like favorite kind of like influential grindcore bands?
I mean, it's a long list of grind bands and fast bands.
Who are like at the top of the list for you? Like if you're just like, I just want to go listen to my favorite. Like what are you putting in?
If I had to go like top 3, it's real hard. This is a real fucking hard
We won't
question.
hold you to it in the future. As
You
you're
could
not
do
under
5, bro.
I'll
You
just do
could do
3.
5.
what comes to mind?
I think it's gonna have to be like Warsaw, Gride, Unholy Grave. Maybe. Fuck, it's a hard one. But yeah, we'll go with those 3 for now. Sometimes it changes.
You could do 5, bro. You don't have to do just 3.
Yeah, but I could sit here and list out like all my favorite.
Yeah,
fucking metal bands.
I get that. I get
Be like,
that.
Ass Up, Repulsion, Terrorizer. I mean, I fucking go on a fucking list here. You know
Oh,
what I'm
yeah.
saying?
Well, I
But,
don't know.
like,
This is the
Fear,
space to
Fear of
talk
God,
about
Triple
it, bro.
Bastards. I mean, you could just go off like on a fucking a list. But yeah,
True.
yeah.
I'll let
I
Joe
don't know.
go next.
Yeah,
Guys,
Joe. What you got? Joe's
Good.
gonna be he's a more metal, I think, a more metal edge on the grind.
so if I guess for me, man, I don't want to be cliche and say like Napalm Death, because I mean that's kind of just like, you know, everybody would say that. But for me, I guess, especially like just stuff that I'm listening to right now, I'm gonna go for like Australian. So Internal Rot obviously would be one of them.
Great fucking band. Great fucking Mental Hygiene.
Yes.
I think that's great fucking band, dude.
So I would say maybe them, like Last Days of Humanity. They're more on the gore grind side, but I mean it's still grind. And then, damn man, from Florida. So actually, no. You know what? Is a tie, I guess. It would have to be a tie between like probably Ass Suck and probably Discordance Access, because those albums from them when I was like growing up, like they were like really pivotal, especially on some of the writing on some of the like apocalyptic stuff. A lot of it I was listening to a lot of Asuk and a lot of Discordance Axis around that time. So, but like Frank said, I mean, the list could go on. There's like so many, there's so many fucking bands. So
you could go so many ways with it.
Rupture, no comment. I mean,
For sure.
dude, it's never ending, dude.
like
So-
Canterbury's and
Yeah.
So like
So-
God, it was a long time ago. I went to my parents used to live in Virginia. I think I've meant Zoomy's heard me talk about this show before. My parents used to live in Virginia, and I went out there to visit them. And when I was there was a show in Richmond, so it's like an hour and a half away from where my parents were. And I went to go see it. It was this tiny little bar, and it was Rotten Sound, Magruder Grind, and Catheter. And dude, that was so sick. I mean, it was like it wasn't even a stage. They were on the floor in front of the window at the front of the bar. Like I was standing like
The
4
best
feet
kind of show.
from fucking Rod Sound and Maruda and Magruder. Like they were just tearing it up, dude. It was so sick. The place was like 30 feet wide
crazy
and
stuff.
like maybe 60 feet deep. Like it was so tiny and awesome. It was sick.
Yeah.
It's
If I could do my top 5, I would probably say number 1, I'm a huge Wormrot fan. Definitely fucking Pig Destroyer. Definitely Disease. I just love how fucking fast that guy blasts. Fucking definitely I just have to say it just out of respect. Definitely fucking definitely Napalm. I'm just gonna say it, Napalm. And then
Sure.
for sure, I really like stuff that's a little more power violency. Like the guy said, you could keep going and going, but I would say I'm a big fan of Antichrist Demon Core. Like I love that album, Satan is King. That's like one of my favorite albums. We actually got to play with them in Colorado Springs last year, and that was a really fun experience.
Nice.
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
So I saw recently you guys posted some stuff, I think, on online, but you guys have some shows in the Northwest coming up in May.
yes. So we're actually doing a little short run with our friends in Atopic Pregnancy, this gore grind band out of Seattle, Washington. So we're playing Olympia, we're gonna do Portland, Seattle, and then we're gonna do Vancouver. So we got like 4 shows with those guys. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. I've never been to that area like ever. I've never been to like Oregon, or I've never been to Washington. I haven't been to Canada either. So I'm pretty
I thought you'd
excited.
been up there. That's cool.
What'd you
You've never been up there. That's cool
Yeah.
that you've never been up there. You've been up there to like visit. That's cool. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's gonna be
Frank's
fun.
been everywhere.
I'm not everywhere, but I've been there a bunch of times. I haven't played a show in that area in like over 10 years. Like I've gone
I
to
wonder-
visit, like just hang out and walk around and shit, but I haven't like played a show. So I'm pretty stoked on that. And
Oh, for
yeah,
sure.
that's like I think it's exactly a month away from this weekend, actually. Right? It's like
Yeah.
exactly a month
Yeah, I
away.
think I saw like the 28th is one of the
Yeah.
dates or something like that.
Yeah,
so
that'll be here before you know it. It'll be hot as fucking Houston, and we're gonna be grinding with homies up in the Pacific Northwest, enjoying that good weather and stuff.
wearing
Man, I
hoodies
can't
and
wait.
shit. Yeah.
I cannot wait, to be honest. It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna
Uh,
be weather.
Yeah.
maybe even get to try some new food.
No, I don't know about that. Maybe
I don't know.
Oh man.
we're not gonna have time. We're only gonna be grinding, man. We don't even got time to
That's
eat.
true. Well, I will say that our guitar player Joe here is vegan, so we always get to find really
Oh, that's
cool
true.
vegan restaurants whenever we go. Joe definitely does his homework, and he always finds people are like, does it suck being in a band with a vegan? And I'm like, no, dude. Like everywhere that he's taken us is like the non-vegan options are good. I'm like, so when people complain about being in a van with a vegan, like I don't get it. Like, and then like vegan food's not even that bad. Like Frank's not vegan, but he's he's very health conscious, and he's like vegan adjacent. You know what I mean? He'll eat vegan foods, and like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like I'm
Vegan
If it's
not
healthy, I'm
like
adjacent.
down.
I'm the only reason I'm not like vegetarian or vegan is just because like I'm Mexican, and I'm not gonna be like the one cousin at the carne asada like not eating like meat. You know what I mean? It's just that I can't do that. Like it's too much
It's
of a
like I gotta
cultural
have
thing for me.
tortillas. It's like I
Yeah,
gotta
dude.
have
Like
those tortillas.
I gotta do it.
I'll
But
just
I mean, I'm
I'll just
down.
have
I'm
beans.
yeah. But I mean, I'm definitely down with the cause of veganism, and I like, I see and recognize its value. You know what I mean? But yeah, like I'm always making sure if we go somewhere, like I'm like, yo, is there a place can Joe get something to eat here? Or I'm like, or I'm like, Joe, have you gotten something to eat today? Like we always make sure that he gets.
And honestly, we're talking about food. You were asking us about the fucking tour, and here we are. We're talking about food because being on tour, it really is about just like hanging out, and then we're gonna go find like some kind of food place, and it's like always a gamble. And then you find it, and then like that's its own experience, and then like maybe something funny will happen, and then you got this ongoing 5-6 year long joke from something that happened at whatever fucking adventure you went on just to find food or kill time in whatever city that you're in.
Exactly.
So,
Oh yeah, I mean,
yeah,
And then
this is what the tours are actually made of. What we're talking about,
I was
even
gonna say
though,
there's only three things to do on tour, right? There's
yeah.
drive,
What you should do is
grind,
ask us
and
which
eat.
show was the coolest after the tour, because that's when it really matters. And when you're asking about the
yeah,
show, yeah,
that's true. That's true. And then Joe and Frank are big coffee guys, so we always go out and find a good cup of Joe in the morning. You know what I mean?
you got to go. You got to go get a
Yeah.
hot cup of Joe with Juicy Joey every morning.
Yeah, yeah, you gotta have a
That's
hot
right.
cup of Joe with Juicy Joey. It's usually some hot tea for me, but it's still
Yeah,
a hot cup of Joe with Juicy Joey.
I
totally.
love that.
That's awesome. I do
We need to
too.
start having. We need to add a little segment to the podcast. It's just a hot cup of Joe with Joe. Like go on weekly, and
maybe Joe could maybe it could be like a little 5-minute segment where Joe talks about some new releases that people should check out.
there you go, sipping coffee.
That'd be sick. That'd be sick
Yeah.
because if you should listen to anybody's opinions, it's Joe's.
I like how we're doing like a podcast, but now it's turning into like a business venture for Joe now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
hey, you guys have just given us ideas, man, and I actually really
yeah.
like that idea. There's this
I was
there's
just
this
trying to
one
plan
guy.
Joe's future.
Whenever I'm doing like my doom scrolling, in the end of the day or whatever, there's this one guy that always comes up, and he's like, "Hello, buddy," and all he does is like make food
Oh,
and
I know him.
and
I
play
know him.
video games, and he'll play like today we're gonna play Super Mario Brothers while we make grilled cheese sandwiches.
Here you go,
And
buddy.
here you go, buddy. Yeah, he's always like
Yeah.
saying buddy, and I like it. I listen to him, and I'm like,
He's one of my favorite. He's one of my favorite. I will loop his shit when I'm having like way too much
just keep going
anxiety.
with it.
I will loop his shit. He's awesome. I love that guy.
Yeah, just
I don't
listening
think
to
I've
him
seen that
talk,
one.
I'm like, this guy's awesome, man. Yeah, but he's like,
Yeah.
yeah, and then he says like whenever he's saying bye, he's like, bye bye. Like super quiet, super smooth, like voice,
Yeah.
and
And then
it's
he's
calming.
got his dogs with him, and he's like he'll always pet his dog and be like, good boy. You know what I mean? And he'll be playing like an old school video game, and he'll like make like macaroni and cheese or something really cool, and he'll be playing like a Golden Eye or something, and he'll be in his
Yeah,
camper, and it's just
he
like
loves
it's just like
GoldenEye, man.
yeah, and it's just like it makes me wonder like if we didn't do like if I didn't choose like this life, would I be doing shit like that, or like would I be would I just like abandon grindcore and go to Louisiana and learn how to make gumbo and come back to Houston and open up a restaurant? You know what I mean? Is that what I would do if like I didn't do grindcore?
Why can't you do
Bubblegum shrimp.
Good.
Do both, man? Just
I
go
could
play grindcore in Louisiana and learn while you're there, and then come back and start your. You give a grindcore gumbo place like that Hoek's Death Metal Pizza in Austin. Just
oh yeah.
Izzy's grindcore gumbo.
Yeah.
It's got
Louisiana's
a cool
actually
ring.
New Orleans is actually one of our favorite places to play, actually.
Call it Blast Beat Boudin.
Love
Yeah.
it.
Oh man. But yeah, we
That's
definitely
awesome.
we've been listening to these mixes of our newest album. It's definitely got themes of just kind of, there's a lot going on in our country, right now, and it's just definitely like a reflection of that. It's definitely when it comes to writing, with if we could switch gears and talk about the writing and the music and all that, like when it comes to
Absolutely.
writing, I feel like it's definitely my goal and our goal as a band just to kind of bring up the contradictions of what is life in modern America. You know what I mean? Like, there's, like the rich are getting richer, and it's just like regular people are like fighting for their lives. You know what I mean? And it's just like all of these things, all of these institutions, all of these things are failing. Not to get political or anything, but like, we can all tell that this isn't going very well. You know what I mean? No matter what side you are on the political scale. And we definitely have songs. I actually have a song that I wrote one night after watching RoboCop because I thought the corporate scenes were just like really on point, you know what I mean? And that became which song is that? Damn it. Now I can't think of which song it is. And now I know Joe and the guys are gonna laugh at me. That became that became no, not Engineered for Servitude.
Poison for Profit.
Poison for Profit. There we go. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. I know I needed that. Thank you. Yeah,
Well,
that became Poison for.
memories.
Don't ask me. I just play drums. I'm
Yeah.
funny.
Yeah, that became Poison for
I know
Profit,
these
and
songs
then
had titles. What the fuck?
yeah. I remember it because I wrote it. I just got done saying that. Then I blanked out on it. But no, we have songs about that, and then I also love to read a lot, so we have songs based off like Aldous Huxley's Brave New World, and our title track, The Aesthetics of Violence. That song is about um you guys, I'm sure you guys can relate to this. Y'all ever just get like obsessed about something for maybe like 2 weeks, and then you're just kind of like, all right, well, I'm done with that. You know what I mean? For like 2 weeks, I just got really obsessed with World War One and like trench warfare. And so
Okay.
The Aesthetics of Violence is a song about trench warfare, and what it's like to live in a trench and to basically die for nothing. What it really is, but what it's really about, that's just like a metaphor for like what it's like to be a person and to not grow and to not kind of like normalize your own misery and just not really grow as a person, do the exact same things over and over and expect a different result. Because I mean, at the end of the day, when it comes to writing lyrics, most of us, we kind of write about our own lives. So that's kind of something that's like deeply personal to me, that I wrote about. Was just like, it was about a period of my life where kind of those points in your life where you just kind of think that it's everybody else's fault that I'm this way, instead of just taking accountability and changing. You know what I mean? And then so even though it could be grindcore, you know what I mean, we could have like much deeper meanings to some of the songs. And then I think one of the other songs we wrote, it's about just like a military doctrine of like nuclear war, of like last minute destruction. And it's like, that's always a fun theme to write about. So a lot of it has to do with war. A lot of it has to do with the human condition. A lot of it has to do with, like I said, kind of heightening the contradictions and holding up a mirror to modern society, and just being like, this is like just bringing it to people's attention.
So how many songs are on this new release you guys are working on?
I mean, 9 songs.
9? Okay.
Yes.
And
Uh
then I think 4 of them are like brand new, and a few of them are just kind of like re-recorded with me on vocals as opposed to Joe on vocal with a new lineup.
Okay, cool.
Actually,
6.
What?
there's 6 new ones.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
6 new ones. Okay.
6 new ones, and then I think like maybe 3.
The 4 that I wrote and the 4 new ones that I wrote and the 2 that you wrote. Yeah, you're right. Okay, yeah, for sure.
Awesome.
And we got more to write too now.
Sure, man. You know, it's like
And so you guys said about September time, right? Is whenever you're shooting to have that released. Do I remember that right?
yes, that's correct. A buddy of mine who runs a label called 317 Noise Shit. He's actually putting out some stuff for Repugnant Consumption too, but we're still in the talks about it. But he's probably more likely going to put it out like on tape, either tape or like 7-inch.
That's cool. That's very cool, man. Well, everybody be on the lookout. I think it's a good chance, and I know we won't have Izzy's vocals on this, but to give everybody, an idea of what you guys sound like. And one of the songs that we had talked about before the show was Victim of Vanity, that you guys had mentioned getting it out there so everybody could get an idea of what your music sounds like, and to get them prepared for new stuff that'll be coming around the corner. So
Definitely.
if you think it's a good time, I think we need to let everybody listen to Victim of Vanity
Cool.
Cool.
right now.
Definitely.
Right now.
Put it on.
Awesome song, guys. Freaking awesome song. I hope everybody else enjoyed it. You guys go out and check out Wound Stench. And if you can't find yet, because September, is when the new stuff's gonna come out, Apocalyptic Noise Syndicate is what their name was before February. So, we talked about them going through the new lineup, kind of rebranding in a way, and just, making sure to hyper focus in what they're trying to get across. And like Izzy just said, lots of concepts and stories and things that the music's going to represent, and it's a reflection of our lives and who we are as people. And I think what's cool about metal is we can all relate to that, because metalheads are like the only genre people I know or that I feel like I know. I haven't seen every concert or been to a show for every genre of music out there, but I feel like metalheads wear their scars on the outside, and they're not really trying to hide anything. It's like you take it or you leave it. Like, this is me. And I think that that's where the community gets so much of its bond, and the reason why we stand up for each other and support each other as much as we do, because we feel like we're just all in it together. And just whenever I think about those things, those are the things that put a smile to my face. Those are the things that make me love metal, because it is the music, but it is bigger than the music too. And we've talked about the relationships, but just being people who live in this world that we live in, we have feelings, we have stories, we have things that affect us, even if they don't affect somebody else. And that's usually what translates into metal. And sometimes, it's funny. Sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's serious. And I think the reason, whenever you started talking about all that stuff, that's why I was like, that's the reason you guys are like real grindcore, because you're not like you're not like the bands that are like sarcastically necessarily going out there and tongue in cheek, you know, to get
Yeah.
the message
Like,
across.
I feel like it boils down to like it's the lifestyle that you live. Like we're not doing it just to like get Instagram like followers. No, we actually like this is like our life, and like me and
Like
Joe been doing this. We're older now. Like we're not going anywhere. Like in like the punk or metal world, you would call it lifers. And what you're talking about is like we're all community and we're basically all family because we're all connected through like extreme music, whether it's punk or metal or grind and what the fuck ever have you. We're like connected in that way. And we're all like living the same lifestyle for the same cause. And that's how it should be. And the ones that aren't living it for that, man, what do we call them? We call them posers. And then they eventually pose out. So like it's just a
Good.
matter of time. You know what I mean?
That's
Yeah.
so
Like
funny.
it's cool to have like that family dynamic that you're talking about.
Right.
Like when you go to a metal show and like even if you don't like know homeboy, but you've been seeing him at shows for 10 or 15 years, but like you're like, hey, what's up?
Or taking
That's cool.
pictures of his band.
That's sick. That's awesome. That's how it should be.
Yeah.
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 Yeah, and like you said, metal's one of the only places that you can actually go and do that. You're at the show,
Exactly.
and like you said, you could fist bump that person that even if you don't know them, everybody likes hearing, hey, good set, man. Hey, man, I really like what you guys played tonight. Dude, that new track, it hit. It hit. It was so awesome. And they like hearing that, and metal's like the only place that you can go up and talk to them after the show or see them hanging out at the merch table, and that's even one of the reasons we do the show is we want people to, come see you guys play, and we want them to not be afraid to go say what's up,
Even if there's like 5 people there and like 3 of those motherfuckers were like, man, this was the shit. I loved it. Like that's cool. That's enough. That's why we loaded all the gear and moved it across the city for an hour for those 3 motherfuckers that like the show.
That's right.
and
That's okay
and
sometimes.
and got into an argument about where we need to stop to get gas or whether or not I can go to the bathroom or you know what I mean, like
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, I have
We
this.
hurt Izzy's bladder so that these fools could grind,
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
As it
right.
should be.
Or
That's
I
right.
think a joke
For the
that
cause, man.
I have with the guys is a joke I always have with the guys is that it's so corny. I'm like, yo, sometimes the sickest riffs are like the friends we meet along the way, you know.
I like
For
that.
sure. For sure.
That's good.
I
For
love it
sure.
too.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
I know that Brandon usually likes to touch on gear.
Yeah, I do.
And this is usually about the time that I'm like, oh, we haven't talked about gear yet. So let's talk about what everybody,
Yeah, it is.
yeah, let's talk about what everybody likes to play through or what equipment they like to
Yeah.
use. And
Let's start with
I know
let's start with
I know Joe's ready for this part.
all right, Joe. Why don't you start off? What tell us about your baby and your gear.
Okay, so the current setup that I'm using, I guess we'll start with guitars. So I really like Fernandez guitars. I have a couple Revolver Elites. There's one that I pretty much predominantly use for this band. We tune to C standard. For all you nerds out there that care about that kind of stuff, like we tune to C standard. Man, I try to keep it simple, but it's very complicated just because at the moment we don't have a bass player, so I'm actually like ADYing to like 2 different rigs. But for the time being, so what I normally use is I have a 6505 that I use, standard like bread and butter for most like metal, grindcore, death metal bands. So I use one of those. I use that through a Marshall 412. And then for the bass, I had this little pedal I use just for kind of like weird little noise effects from Talon Electric. So I use one of those. Got a tuner, man. Tuner is the most important thing that you got to have on your board. It is 2026. I get super tripped with any bands not being fucking tuned in 2026. Like it's like, dude, come on, man. Like you don't even need a pedal. Like
Facts.
you can get one of those little simple little things to put on the headstock of the guitar and just tune. If you can't tune or your shit's like out of tune, like just no. Um, and then for the bass side, so I have an ABY, and then for the bass side, I basically use. So I have a big muff. I use an Electro Harmonics like octave pedal, and it kind of gives like kind of bass, sort of like bassy sort of tone. That goes to a Sans amp. To a Fender Rumble 800-watt head, and then I use an Ampeg 610. So that's a lot of shit that I got. I have to put together every time when we play
Man.
live. But it's cool. I mean, like I said, I use that. I also have some other like heads that I use. Like I have a couple solid states that I'll like bring for practice and stuff. I have like one of those orange what was it? Oh god, what is it? The Dual Baby. I use one of those. I just recently bought this black like amped 6, and it's literally just like it's basically like a pedal, but it's like 100-watt like amp head. I love that thing because I can literally just put it in my bag, and just take it. And it's super fucking loud, which is important, obviously, because we got Frank blasting and stuff, and like it just this shit can't be. It's got to be fucking loud. Might not have to be good, but you got to be fucking loud. So that's pretty much that's
Cymbals are not quiet. Yeah.
what's that?
Cymbals are not quiet. You got to be
Yeah,
able to play over the cymbals.
yeah.
They're
So
smooth.
but yeah, that's the stuff that I use. And then for the bass on the album, I just use like a Schecter. I have a Silhouette bass that I use. It's the same one I use in Repugnant Consumption. Um, yeah, and like I said, that's pretty much my setup. That's my gear setup.
Uh,
That's awesome.
as far as my drums go, I have a kit that I leave set up at the practice room, and just because I don't want to like move it up and down the stairs, and like even though there's an elevator, it's just a pain in the ass to move it around. So at the studio, I have a Orange County that I've had since 2010, and I have like a whole separate set of cymbals that I leave up there, except for I've cracked all my crashes in the past couple recent years. So I'm only down to 2 crashes. So I do have to move 2 crashes, and I do play on the same pedal, even though I have 2 different pedals right now. I've been enjoying playing the same pedal because that's comfortable. But I have recently investigated and researched. Check this out. If you switch your pedal setup constantly, it's supposed to make you more agile, like on any sort of setup. So like if you're playing like a show where you fly to and like it's a bass drum that you're not used to playing on, or you know what I mean, or if it's like a piece of junk Fisher Price drum kit, like the idea is like you constantly switching your pedal up, you should be able to play flawlessly on like whatever kick drum you're playing on.
That
So I have
that
a
makes sense. I mean,
right.
yeah.
So I think I'm gonna start incorporating that. So I have like a Dynasync Tama that I haven't been playing on for like the past year, but for the past year I've been playing on a trick. It's a trick longboard. What do they call that thing? It's like I can't even remember the name of my own fucking gear. It's like a VR. No, what is it? Anyway, it'll come to me in a second. So I play on a trick pedal. It's a direct drive pedal. It took a lot to get used to on the feel of that full direct drive pedal like that. It's super smooth. And I play on all pasty or pasty, however you want to say it, cymbals. And the kit that I've been playing like recordings and live with is a DW collector series. And I leave that one like set up here at my house. Uh, this is my little electric kit that I fuck around with at the house sometimes. It's like not as fun to play as like an acoustic kit, you know what I mean? Just because like I'm an acoustic kind of drummer, and I don't play it as much as I should, but I fuck around every once in a while. And yeah, I guess that's about it. Like the idea of like being able to like, oh, we're gonna play a show or go record, and I just load up my drums here at the house. I have like a whole setup, like the hardware, the throne, the snare, everything. Just like I just load that up. I just have to go get 2 cymbals from the practice room, which a lot of times we'll like run through the set before we load the gear for a show, just to like get warmed up, and I'll just grab 2 cymbals. and pedal.
And then Frank has
Yeah.
like super high quality gear, just like overall.
Oh yeah. Yeah, like during COVID, whenever like when we got those Trump dollars during COVID, like I was an essential worker, so I never lost any business. Like I had a little pass to go to work, and I was like constantly going to work. Me and Joe were actually, he was essential worker too. So Apocalyptic Noise never fucking stopped practicing the whole time during COVID. And during that time, we weren't going on tour. You know what I mean? We weren't even fucking playing shows or doing nothing. So I started taking like that money and then just like money that I would blow on tour or whatever. I just started buying drum shit. And I bought that like super expensive DW kit and like maxed out a credit card. You know what I mean? Like, fuck it.
That's the American dream.
It took a while to
Look,
pay off, but hey, I got it now, and I really don't plan on buying another kit, to be honest. I
don't
really
need
I
to.
don't.
actually, I actually bought a camera like with the Trump dollars. So shout out to for the Trump dollars. Now they got to talk about their setups, and that's fair and fine. But I'm
Let's
just
hear
gonna say
yours.
that number one, I hate I hate moving the bass amp. Like I hate moving the bass amp. I hate moving the drums, but it's just something that I have to do because I'm also in the band, and I'm gonna take a moment to acknowledge that. Like the other night, I went to a show and I saw a band loading up, and I just stood there and put my hands on my hips, and I was like, I'm so stoked that I don't have to load any of this gear, that this band has to load all of their own gear. You know what I mean? Jokingly. But I run a pretty simple setup. I use this pretty small mic. It's got a small surface area on it. It that allows me to, with a smaller surface area, I can kind of do like a broader attack. I can get a deeper sound. Um, we don't really run. We have like we do have a pitch shifter pedal, but I don't really use that. It's more for like if Joe wants to do backups or if Frank wants to do backups or for recordings. Everything that we do for me is pretty straightforward, and something that most people don't know about me is that everything that I do is inhale. Like everything that I do
Really?
vocally is inhale. The high screams, the really like low aggressive like growls and all of that is me like inhaling air.
Wow, that's cool. I
Yeah, I
did
did
not know
not know
that.
that. Yeah.
I've seen you live a few times. I did not know you were doing that all inhale. That's cool.
It definitely blows people's mind whenever I do those crazy high screams, and I'm just like, oh yeah, that was just inhale, you know. And honestly, it kind of gives me the ability to just kind of like go up and down in range like really easily and really crazily. And I think with between like Frank's just like crushing blast and Joe's just those like like chaotic riffs. I think that's just what really like ties our music all together. Is just that we have like for it just being three guys, like we have a big sound for it being just three guys. And I've always thought that it's cool when grindcore bands have like less amount of members, but they just sound like just as heavy or just as their sound is just as thick or just as heavy or just as chaotic.
Yeah.
It'll
Big
be even
believer in the
more sick when we get
big.
a bass player. Holy shit.
Yeah, so Brandon and I talk about this. We talk about like how some music doesn't sound full and it just sounds like super thin.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like it even if it's really good, you're like, man, I really like the album, but it just sounded like there was some mixing that, could have been done differently or
Hmm.
something like that because I walked out of it feeling like it was just too thin. It like didn't have the fullness that, and you use the word thickness. And so I think, that's kind of the same word that I'm trying to use too.
Oh, for
Um,
sure, for sure.
yeah, but I can relate. We've talked about that before. One of the very first episodes, I think it was the pilot episode where we talked about stillbirth. That was one of the points that we made about stillbirth. The slam band for Germany is we were like, man,
Uh-huh.
it's just so full, and it has this
Hmm.
boominess to it that, really just you feel it. Like you love the music, but you feel it too, and so
Hmm.
it's I know what you're talking about, and I find value in that too. And the fact that you guys can accomplish that as a 3-piece is impressive.
Oh
And
yeah.
without,
And then
an
like,
actual like bass player.
oh for sure.
Yeah, it really comes down to the low end. You need a lot of low end.
Yeah.
And even at
And then
practice,
like,
I'm like, Joe, I'll turn the bass amp down because Joe's just killing me. I'll be like, yeah, too much bass. But yeah, the bass does sound good, but yeah, it's fucking crushing sometimes.
Yeah, that's cool. And Izzy, one thing that you mentioned, I just want to say this real quick, is I played bass and with all the bands, and I'm pretty sure they would take turns discussing away from me who was going to help me carry my gear this time. They
oh
would always
yeah.
be like,
Oh
"Oh, that
yeah.
fucking bass amp, man."
It's my biggest op.
It was heavy.
It's my
It had the
biggest op.
dolly on it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It had the wheels and the dolly
Oh
on
yeah.
Well,
But
that's
still,
nice. Yeah. Since we were talking about gear, I got one thing to say real quick. To all the bands out there, if you're in a fucking band and you're watching this and this is 2026, can y'all fucking start bringing your own fucking gear to shows? Like, what the fuck? Like, start bringing your own gear. Like, you're in a band, start bringing your own backline, or at least discuss it before you fucking get to the show. That's all I gotta say.
Have you
God damn.
running into a lot of fellow bands not bringing their own stuff, wanting to use yours?
Every show these days, nobody shows up with gear. It's fucking weird. You
Yeah,
know
it's
what I
a
mean?
strange thing because I mean, since I've been playing, I mean, obviously, like Frank too. I mean, dude, like you just brought your own shit. I remember being in bands. I was like 17, 18. I mean, didn't have the greatest gear, but I mean, I somehow always had a cabinet or like some kind of like, I think I had like one of those like Marshall like MG 100 like HDX heads, like fucking terrible, but like I had like my own shit. But yeah, I've noticed like every band. Oh, what's the backline? There's like 4 bands in the show, and I'm like, dude, come on, like. I understand a backline, it's like festival, or maybe there's like 20 or like 50 bands. Like I get it. You know what I mean? I get that we got to get the flow in, and like I totally understand. But if there is only 5 bands on a show and you're like asking about a backline, it's like, dude, either you need to go to this, start lifting weights because you're just too much of a pussy and like you can't pick your own shit up, like help each other out, or you just don't. You know what I mean? Like if you're not even willing to bring your own stuff, figure a way out. Like figure a way to bring your own stuff.
Yeah. It's
people
weird to me.
people
I don't get it.
people say that they want to be part of the village, but like you got to remember, you got to bring something to the village too. Like you can't just benefit from the village. You have to bring something to the village too. And that's what I'll take away from what Frank's saying, is that he's saying that like if you want to be part of this, you definitely can, but you have to be, you know what I mean? There's no half-assing this, and you do have to figure it out yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Riffs alone
Not
ain't
that
doing
he's
it. Bro. You know what I mean?
do what?
I said riffs alone ain't doing it.
Let's say gotta get up there
Yeah,
and hum the
exactly.
riffs into a microphone, owned by the venue. Like,
Yeah, I mean, if you have like a plan to like not bring gear, sure, but like don't show up and just expect like there to be gear for you to play on. Like what? That is
Yeah.
bizarre as fuck to me, and that has been happening a lot lately. I've noticed. Like what?
so there's
So weird.
there's a major sense of entitlement, just within our culture in general. Like a lot of people just feel entitled to, like, everyone owes me something. The world owes me something. Why should I have to work? Like, if you don't have an amplifier and a set of drums for me to use, like you wanted me to come play the show. It's like,
Yeah.
you don't have that for me. Like, you're supposed to have
This is
everything
where
for me.
the old people, gotta educate them. Like you
Yeah,
said.
that's
Yeah.
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Gotta let them
like
know,
start
like,
bringing your gear, bro. Like,
yeah,
come on.
you gotta bring your stuff, dude. Oh, I do?
I know you
Yeah.
practice on some shit at your house or whatever you'll practice at. Like, I can't bring that.
Yeah.
Like, why not?
I hope
Right?
so.
Why can't you bring that? Why does it rely on one dude to like let everybody play his shit? And like,
Yeah.
sure, if there's a plan involved, weeks leading up to it, but this is not a
And
plan
then
that
like
happens like at the
and
show.
then like
Yeah.
why are you asking the headlining band? Like why are you asking the headliner or something? You know what I mean? Why are
Bro,
you asking the dude
fuck.
with the sickest
The
gear
the
there? You
headlining
know what I
band
mean?
sometimes asks to borrow the gear.
Yeah.
Well,
The
no, I'm
headlining band
saying
shows up
nah.
asking to borrow the gear
You're right.
sometimes.
You're right about that. You're right about that.
I know.
I'm not
It's
disputing
crazy.
that for sure. It's just you're right. You're right. Just bring your own fucking gear. That's if
You
you
know,
can.
Yeah.
If you can.
there's
Yeah,
that other piece to it
words of
where
wisdom.
yeah, there's that other piece to
Yeah.
it too, where it's like you just show up and you want to borrow somebody's gear. It's like, do that. You're asking somebody that you don't know if you can use their $4,000 piece of equipment. Like,
Granted, like,
not so sure they're gonna, like, I don't know you. Like, no,
yeah.
like,
I've noticed a lot in like the metal scene, like the metal shows, like those fools bring their own gear. I guess I'm really talking like the punk shows and stuff. Like, yeah.
Oh
Like
yeah.
the punk influenced grind shows and the punk shows, like these fools are just showing up like expecting their gear to be there sometimes and notice. I'm like, what the fuck?
That is
But
crazy.
Yeah.
not that it's like always like a big hassle, but it's like, why is it like this now? It doesn't have to be. It never was ever like this before. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's got to be new. That's got to be a new thing because I'd never heard of that, but I hadn't played in a long time either. As far as
It's totally a
shows.
new thing. Yeah.
hey, I wonder
Yeah.
if part of it is like for like me for instance, okay, like I play guitar. All right, I don't have an amp that I could bring. I have a little Spark amp, but I have an amp simulator on my computer. You know, I don't know. Maybe some of these guys write this music and then they're asked to play a show and they're like, I don't have $2,500 to buy an amp.
Oh, that's the Guitar Center 45-day guarantee.
Oh, there you go. There's ways
You
around
just go
that.
get it,
Yeah.
go play the show, and then take it back within 45 days. Hell, you could go do a month-long run and then take it back on day 44 and be like, yeah, I'm really looking for something different.
Yeah, this one smells like beer.
Yeah,
I don't want this one.
Bring it
I
back on
mean,
day. Just like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I didn't really
Yeah.
like. Just play like a whole like month long quality. It's like
Yeah.
It's
What-
fucking hilarious.
What's that little scuff right there? Don't worry about that little guy.
It came like that. With that little guy right there.
Just get some
Don't
touch up
even worry
paint.
about that little guy right there.
Yeah, it came like that.
It's
Oh,
a
that's
little wear
pretty
and
funny.
tear.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I think it's a good time to get to know you guys with the Furious Five. You guys watched one of our shows?
I'm trying to remember what the Furious Five is. It's like a segment where you guys ask us like 5 questions or 5 something.
Ding, ding, ding.
I'm
You
trying
got
to
it,
remember
buddy.
what
So
it is.
it was originally, I think I called it the Fast Five, and somebody was like Fast and the Furious, and I said no, but now we're gonna call it the Furious Five. So that's
Oh, that's
how it
sick,
got
bro.
renamed. Yeah. So I figured to keep it confusing, but make it different, so that then I could pretend like I changed it. But so Brando and I, we put together just a short list of questions. We ask you guys these questions, 5 questions. We do like one at a time, go through everybody, and then do like the second one through everybody and the third one through everybody. So we get to laugh about it. They're not music related.
There
I
are
spoke a
correct
little-
and incorrect answers, and you will be judged and graded. And you will be thrown into a pit of snakes if you get it wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, man. Actually, it's funny because sometimes people are like, "Ugh, that's a hard question," and we're like, "Oh, we weren't trying to make hard questions,
Yeah,
But
just kidding. There's no grade.
Yeah, just have some fun with it. But really, I spoke earlier about people coming and seeing you guys like at a show and not being afraid to say what's up. Not being afraid to come, tell you guys that you played a good set or to chat with you a little bit at the merch table and stuff. And that is one of the main reasons why I like to do these questions. I like people to find that we have lots of things in common and that we're all kind of on the same plane, and to go to your favorite musician or one of the musicians that's playing in a band at a metal show is okay. It's okay to find, friends with these musicians and stuff. And I know most people know it, but I think it just kind of opens the door because somebody will say, hey, I like what this guy likes, or hey, we're a lot the same in that regard. And that kind of gives you some talking points. And hopefully people, watch the show, they learned a little bit more about you. And that's also the reason why they want to go hang out with you at the show too and come and see you guys play. So that long
cool.
intro just to kind of explain the why. But really, it's not serious like Brandon said, and it's meant to be taken fun. So
I use this as an opportunity to do the opposite of what Tim said. This is how I learned who I don't want to go talk to at shows. I'm like, oh, that guy. Just kidding. All right, go
That's
ahead.
funny. That's funny. All right, so who wants to go first? Joe.
Fucking over. Joe, you
Yeah, I
wanna
was
go
gonna
first?
say start with
Joe.
Joe.
Joe, yeah.
Joe's like
He's
on
the
the
main man
far.
right there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
just
yeah.
threw him right underneath the bus. Like they were just like,
Yeah, Joe.
run him over
So,
first.
all right, question 1.
Well, they know if I start talking, I'll never stop. So exactly.
Joe, was the moon landing real? Any of them?
Oh Lord. I think we've been to the moon. I think the footage is fake. And I think the whole reason behind it was we were basically in a battle with the Russians, and I think it was just basically all a thing of like, oh, like we're gonna go to the moon first, or and I think Kubrick filmed the moon landing, the one that everybody's seen.
I love it. I love it because I've often wondered similar stuff. Like, we just weren't going to lose that race. It probably doesn't mean we haven't been to the moon before, but I don't know if that was the first time we ever went.
I mean, maybe there's
Yeah.
stuff on that they don't want us to know about either.
So true. I can bet there's lots they don't want us to know about. You know, I always joke and say that NASA is just like the perfect setup for laundering money. Because when people are like, what happened to that $20 million? You're like, well, we had to send this rocket to Mars and we had to, and so then they're just like, oh, yeah, that's right. That couldn't have been cheap. And so I think, it's just,
The NASA was actually started and founded Warner von Braun was actually a Nazi that escaped from World War II, and we brought with Operation Paperclip.
Operation Paperclip.
Yeah. So I'm sure there's probably people who listen to this show that probably know about that. But yeah, NASA was actually founded by a Nazi. There's a whole bunch of, like I said, I could go like all day on that stuff, but yeah, there's a bunch of crazy stuff with NASA, and not even just that. Okay, so as far as like money laundering stuff, it's like the same thing with like NASA, but I think that with like art, and I'm like, there's great art, and then there's like these things where it's like someone scribbles on something, and I mean, again, there's like your own perceptions of art, but then they're like, oh, I just spent like $6 million on whatever this, like a scribble on some paper. Oh, it's abstract. Like, dude, you're laundering money, man. Like, there's no, I think it's pretty well known that in the art world too, there's a lot of money laundering.
I believe that. And that makes perfect sense, right? Because it's kind of like whenever you see something for a super expensive price, you're like, and I don't mean at a store. I just mean like, oh, what was it? Like you used to be able to see stuff on Etsy, or whatever that would be like a window and it would be $16,000. And you're like, that shouldn't be $16,000. What's going on there? Like, are you really buying a window or what are you getting here for this? Like, and so I've always wondered, and I always heard stuff that, you'd be buying children or something crazy like that. Like it would be like code for buying a human or something like that. And so, I often wondered, like all these inflated prices, how much of it is really, the value that we're buying it for and how much of it is just shady stuff happening. So good point, Joe.
Yeah.
All right. Izzy, what do you got, brother? Moon landing, real or not?
I feel like if it was faked, like the Russians would just have a field day with that. So I feel like we definitely went there, and like, I feel like this wouldn't be entertaining to listen to if I like agreed with Joe. I feel like the footage is authentic. I feel like it just looks weird because it's like old and in space. You know what I mean? But I mean, like I u- I'll say this, like I used to be really into conspiracy theories, but like I've just kind of gotten to a point to where I'm like, is the world ruled by like a powerful Illuminati? Like, I mean, maybe. Like, is the world ruled by evil rich people with bad intent? Yes. You know what I mean? Like, I'm more of a like I'm more of a conspiracy person where it counts. Like, I'm like the moon, yeah, that for sure happened, but like you know, like the Epstein files. Yeah, there's definitely stuff there. You know what I mean? Like there's definitely could be like Charlie Kirk getting his kill, like getting capped. Like that's definitely something. There's definitely more to that there. You know what I mean? But
I get it.
as far as conspiracy theories go, I used to be um, like when I first got into this kind of music, I used to like watch Alex Jones, but over time I kind of just was kind of like, this guy is more of like a grifter than anything. You know what I mean? And it's like, I kind of was just kind of like, it's just kind of like, this guy's just kind of like pushing an agenda. You know what I mean? I guess I became too skeptical, even for the skeptics, I guess, if that makes sense. But
You reverted
as far as
back.
the,
You went back. You're like,
yeah,
this is
but
too much.
yeah. Yeah, but as far as the moon landing, yeah, I think that the moon landing happened because I think if it didn't happen, the Russians would have been like, "Oh, it's fake. You faked it. Like we know you faked it." Like they would have had too much fun with that. So that's my opinion. I think it's real. Let's see what Frank has to say.
Yeah, Frank, what do you got?
No, bro. No way. No fucking way. There's no fucking way, dude. Like,
See, this is
like
why it's funny if
I
I
work on
disagree.
I build engines and I'm like in the car industry. And in the 60s, the way that they were making fucking cars and shit, like you think that they were building rockets that go thousands of miles per hour and then fucking stop on a dime in the fucking moon in the middle of fucking space? Like, you can't even buy a fucking car with air conditioning back then, really. You know what I mean? Like, you think they're fucking landing on the moon and then getting out and fucking bobbing along like on the fucking moon dirt? No, bro. No, that didn't fucking happen. I'm not buying that bullshit. That's all I got to say about that. There's no fucking way.
Yes. Yes. This is
There's no
awesome.
there's no way. There's
Oh,
just no way.
I've often wondered that. You know, I think Chris Rock said in one of his stand-ups, like, they can make spaceships, but they can't make an El Dorado where the bumper don't fall off.
Yeah, bro, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like I fuck with car stuff as like a career for like quarter of a century almost. Like there's no way that they were doing what they said they were doing back then on a spaceship. Like with how the cars work back then. Dude, like I see this shit. Like there's no way. I'm not buying that shit.
Oh, it's all foam and plastic too, right? You know, it's like
Yeah.
like how an airplane's put together. You're like, what?
Yeah, and it's going like, 12,000 mile per hour and shit. You're like, yeah, right. I ain't buying it.
Yeah, man, that's funny.
The other thing they said, yeah, we don't have we don't have it anymore. To,
Oh
like,
yeah,
that same technology.
how
It's
convenient.
pretty, like I don't know.
And if that's true, they probably killed the guy that invented the fucking technology. You know what I mean?
My camera keeps freezing and I can't defend my points, and so I feel like this is just I feel like this has just become a conspiracy against me now. You know what I mean? For like this is the world
No,
we're
you can
living
believe
in.
what
It's
you want, Bob. It's all
the
good.
truth has become the conspiracy. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Soylent Green is made out of people, guys. You know?
Soylent Green. Did you say Soylent Green?
Yeah, Soylent Green. I said Soylent Green
Oh,
is made of people, bro. It's made of people.
that is hilarious, man. Throwback to Charlton Heston. All right.
Dude, talk about a sick actor. Talk about a sick actor. Like him in
Yeah,
Mega Man is great too.
they referred to women as property. They referred to women as property in that movie. Do you remember that?
Yeah, it's insane.
Like if you
Yeah.
bought a
Yeah,
house,
it's
it came
insane.
with a
Like
woman,
each
and it came with the all
yeah.
that stuff.
I want to say, isn't that how it is in Blade Runner as well? Like, isn't
I
that,
think
don't they
so.
have, but
Yeah,
isn't it,
yeah.
but it's like a digital woman or something. I don't know. That's so crazy. That's so insane. That says a lot about
Sci-fi, baby.
yeah, that's like future feudalism or something. Techno
We
feudalism for
you
sure.
got that's right. Yeah, man. Brando, you want to read off question 2?
All right. Back to Joe. Question 2. You ready? All right. Did you have a childhood nickname?
Joe is just basically short for Joseph. But like I would introduce myself as Joseph when I was like younger. the people would always just call me Joe. So, like, after a while, it's like kind of just gave up. Like, sure, I'll be Joe. Like my mom calls me Joseph. I feel like anytime, like some of my ex girlfriends in the past, and they've been angry at me, have called me Joseph. That's when I know I'm in. But yeah, nah, just Joe.
When you
Much. I
get the
didn't have
full
like a
name,
childhood
yeah.
nickname.
All right. Izzy?
Well, yeah, mine's actually kind of funny. It definitely has some lore. So the lore on my nickname is for those who don't know, my full name is for those who don't know, my full name is Israel Mendoza. My obviously like I'm Hispanic. Um, if y'all have ever seen like Cheech and Chong, like Cheech has this cousin named Red Mendoza, and he's like this crazy Vietnam vet that's like not all there. And so as a kid, like my dad thought that was funny, and so he called me Red Mendoza because my grandma, mi abuela, she said that when I was born, I was like muy rojo, like I was red, and that I was like angry. And then recently, like some friends of mine, we really like that song Big Iron by Marty Robbins. And it talks about the outlaw being named Texas Red. And my friend was trying to say that I was Texas Red. And I was like, damn, that sounds sick. I should put that on a jacket or something. But yeah, no, until I was maybe like 10 years old, nobody, not even like nobody in my family, like nobody, unless it was like I was like in a government building, called me by my first name, Israel or Israel. And mostly these days, most people just call me Izzy. Like nobody, not even like my mom, my mom and them don't even call me by like my first name. Like my grandma will still call me she'll call me Red, or she'll call me Rojo, or she'll just be like Mijo, or like she never, she's like, I don't know. It's crazy. Like my family never really calls me by my actual name. Oh, and Frank's back just in time.
All right. Frank.
Yeah, what were we talking about? What was the second question?
All right. Did you have a childhood nickname?
Oh, buddy, yeah, I just did. You're gonna like this one. You ready? My when I was like you're like what your parents called you, right?
Parents,
Okay.
brands, just childhood nickname.
Yeah. Okay, so when I was like a little toddler, right? Like 2 or 3, like if we anytime we went out to eat, like this was like before I could remember shit, right? And like just my mom would tell me, dude, what the fuck? Did y'all see that? My
Yeah.
drum set just fell over.
Izzy just left the screen, pushed your cymbal stack over, and like he's got like
so
there you go.
weird. Okay, anyway, I'll pick it up later. It's just electric. Who gives a fuck? Anyway, that was bizarre.
That was wild.
So anyway, uh, anytime we would go out to eat, my parents would be like, "Where do you want to go out to eat?" Asking like a fucking toddler where they want to go out to eat, right? Just being silly, I guess. And I would always have the same reply. I would always say donuts. I would always just want to go get fucking donuts. So like ever since then, like my parents called me Donut as like a little kid. Like up
Nice.
until I was like, dude, you know what? You know what's fucking weird? You want to hear something funny? I work for my dad, right? I do engine building and shit. And every once in a while when my dad's in some like fucking super silly, goofy mood, like maybe it's like a holiday or something, he's like, he'll like refer, hey donut, blah blah blah, and, like ask me a question about something, but he'll refer to me as Donut, and I'm like, really, dude? Like 42 years old, like
Sprinkle
what
it
the
in
fuck? Why
there.
you calling me
Nice.
Donut still?
And
You know what I mean?
you'll always be little
Pretty funny.
donut to him.
Pretty funny.
Yeah,
But yeah,
you'll always be
donut.
donut.
Yeah.
You
Whatever.
should have never
Nice.
told me that story.
Oh yeah, now you're gonna start calling me Donut.
Yeah, you're Donut Bobby now.
Donut Bob. Yeah.
You didn't
I
even
love
you
it.
didn't even hear my family nickname.
I've heard you say something about Cheech and Chong from the other room. I had to get some water. I had to pee. I had to get
Yeah, no,
water.
I
I
had
was
to.
like,
I had to get water too. No, I said I was Red Mendoza from Cheech and Chong. That's like a character on Cheech and Chong, which makes sense.
so what did they
Like
call you? What did they call you?
when I was a kid, people used to call me Red.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. Question 3.
Okay.
Joe, tell us what your favorite crayon is.
Crayons? Like they're
Yep.
You know, the reason I ask it this way is because I'm probably going to spoil it with my story here, but gold was always my favorite crayon, but it wasn't necessarily my favorite color. But gold
That's a
was
sick
like, it
color
came in,
choice.
gold came in the 64 box. You had to get the 64 box to even get the gold color.
that's true.
The one that had the sharpener on the back. You know what I'm saying? Like on the bottom of the box, it had a little sharpener for your
Yeah, I
crayon.
remember that.
So,
I didn't have one, but my friend did.
right, you know, and so for me, I was like, gold, baby. Yeah, you got gold in yours? Oh, so that was my favorite crayon, even though gold is not my favorite color.
I always
so hopefully
gravitated
that-
towards like either the green one or the red one. I don't know. Those are the colors I used to just gravitate towards. So either green or red. Right, man.
Christmas Bob over here.
Christmas Bob.
Just- Yeah, Christmas Bob. That's awesome. All right, green or red. That's cool. Izzy.
You know, that's kind of funny that he said green because I feel like when you're a kid, you do a lot of like grass and trees and stuff like that. So green a lot. I also my favorite color is red too. So I hate to copy Joe and be a Christmas Bob, but I feel like we got to explain the Bob lore too. Like we got to explain why Bobby's like a nickname we have for each other in our band. That's like just what we call each other, especially if somebody's
I don't
fucking
even.
up. Like
I don't
if
think it's like a.
go ahead, Frank.
I was gonna say I don't think it's a band thing. It's like a Houston thing.
Yeah, it's not just our band. It's like the group of guys that play grind in Houston. We all call each other that.
That's
Go
cool,
to there,
man.
Bobby.
Yeah, it's a really long going joke that started on a PLF tour in 2007, and it's here we are, like 20 years later, still fucking with the same stupid inside joke. And
Yeah, like
it's gone on.
when I joined, I had to find out like what it meant. I was like, why are we calling each other Bob? You know?
You had to be educated of the Bob.
Now it's just like so natural and normal. It's like I don't know. It's weird. It's a
Now
weird
I
thing.
say it to people. Now I say it to people who aren't in on it. They're like, "Why are you calling me Bob?" You know?
Yeah, and then you're like, no, it's a term of endearment. Like it means I like you. Don't worry about it. And they're like, okay, you fucking weirdo.
That's hilarious.
Like I say, the color I like. Honestly, I'm gonna go with the black. I'm gonna go with the black. Yeah,
Damn, he's
the
so
black
metal.
crown. I've yeah, I was into the black crown as a kid too. Because
Nothing-
I don't know. I think I would like to. I was always trying to like shade shit, like black and white. And I remember taking the black crown and holding it on its side and spinning it and getting it to like a point. You know what I mean? Where it would just be like a sharpened
Sharp.
thing.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even need the sharpener. You could just like make it sharp by like shading
It's
stuff.
the
And I would
elementary
just
school
shade
shank.
like a piece of paper, like dark to light. It wasn't even like in a pattern or to make it artistic. It was just to like move the crown down to a sharp point like a fucking autistic weirdo, that little kid that I probably was, you know what I mean?
Schoolyard shank, man.
Slightly tism little weirdo kid, you know what I mean? It
Yeah,
was normal, but stuff like that was kind of weird, you know?
Brandon's right. You just made a schoolyard shank. That's what happened.
Yeah. Make it a fucking little shank.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
You
exactly,
going out
yeah.
to recess without it.
Yeah, man. Always carry this in my belt loop.
You're gonna be meeting at the tetherball
Get a little
court.
sheath and shit. Yeah.
That's
See
awesome.
you at the 5 square, bitch.
Brando. Yeah, at the 5
Question
square.
4, right?
Yeah.
All right, question 4.
My life
Bro,
motto.
what is your life motto? Do you have one? Yeah, you got a little motto? You got a saying about life?
Never give up, I guess would be it. Like you just got to keep going. You just got to keep treading on through. Things like get you down pretty much because at the end, I mean, and granted, I have a lot of friends, I have family, you know, I have people I can obviously count on, but sometimes like things just happen. Like no, at the end of the day, no one's gonna save you. You gotta like pick yourself up. You gotta like keep moving on. You just gotta persevere. So yeah, that's mine.
I love it.
All right. Izzy?
I'm gonna what I am gonna say kinda is like what Joe's saying, but like in a different way. I'm gonna hit him with the classic Sopranos. No, but I'm gonna hit him with the classic Sopranos and be like, "Hey, what are you gonna do?" You know what I mean? Like when stuff goes wrong, like I had a conversation with David from Filth the other day. We were like, you know, if there's one thing you can learn about being in a band and being a guy in a band is that we find out ways to make shit work, whether it's you're changing gear or you're having to switch your set because you don't have this guitar and like y'all only play these songs in this tuning, or whether it is you have to reroute the fucking tour route, or whether it's like, hey, it looks like instead of a hotel we're just sleeping in a van tonight, or you know what I mean? Like my thing is like, what are you gonna do? Like you just make it work is what I'm saying. Like no matter what, like that's a big thing. That's something I've learned a lot getting back into music, is that like I'm the kind of person that just like naturally gets discouraged even by small stuff, but like the guys won't. The guys will be like, "Nah, dude, we're just gonna do it this way," or "Nah, bro, we'll just switch it up and we'll make it. We'll do it this way and it'll work." And like it teaches me like you know not to give up, just to like persevere. Like you know, so when something wrong happens, just let it slide off of you. You know what I mean? And then just keep going, keep grinding, as to say, you know?
Nice. All right. That's a good
It's
one.
awesome.
Frank?
I don't know if I have like a saying per se, really. You know what I mean? Like, but I think like if anything, like if I had a saying, it would go something along the lines of like try to prolong life and say that it's happy and healthy as long as possible. You know what I mean? So like reverse the aging process, because you know I ain't getting no younger. And like honestly, like probably 10 to 14 years ago, I started like on a fitness health journey, and I started feeling real good. And you know, things were, you know, bands were rocking and rolling. Like, you know, they always been, you know, I've always done bands and like lived the lifestyle of like being into punk and metal and grind and stuff. And this is just what I've always done. And then in the past like recent years, like I fell off kinda, and then was eating bad, and like, you know, I was struggling to play drums. Not that I wasn't playing drums. It was just harder to fucking do it because I was getting older and fucking each bad. And like the past like almost year now, I've been like on it harder than I ever have been. And it just like changes like your whole like brain like makeup like chemically to where like I'm like more motivated to fucking like do all sorts of shit. And like now, yeah, now I definitely don't want to fall back off again, and I feel better like than I did when I was 30. I'm like almost 43 at this point. So yeah, if anything, it's just like stay happy and healthy as long as possible and reverse the aging process. And the way to do that is fucking eating right at the age that I'm at. I mean, I don't know how old you guys are, but we all look like we're like kind of close to the same age, and like yeah,
41.
like waking up not feeling good for me, being like all physical and like with my instrument, and then also with my work, like I was fucking struggling. Like fuck that, I'm done with that shit, you know. So yeah, that's where I'm at these days. Anyway,
Yeah, you're right. It's not sustainable long term, especially the older you get. I'm 42 as well, so I'm right there with you, man.
we're the same age.
83. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? Yeah,
Yeah,
dude.
exactly.
I will
Um,
say that we're probably the healthiest grindcore band there is. Like as
well,
far as
Yeah, look at
then
grindcore
you'll
bands
be
Vanity.
go,
around a
like
long time.
Joe's
Yeah,
vegan, Joe's vegan, Frank works out a lot. I'm kind of like starting my journey where I'm like you know, not really drinking as much and cutting back on stuff and starting to eat better and just get that movement in every day. Because like at the end of the day, you have to remember that like when we're on stage, like you know we're moving. Like Frank is like sweating when we're playing. Frank is blasting, and Joe is like, Joe gets really into it, and Joe's moving around, and it's like I don't want to be half-assing it or phoning it in when my boys are like, firing on all cylinders. I want to be right there with them. You know what I mean? So I've been
Yeah,
doing
the more
some.
you move around and headbang and jump around, the cooler it looks. So yeah, you need to have
Yeah,
your
yeah.
energy up too.
For sure, for sure. Because like I had recently gotten a pinched nerve in my neck from just
Oh yeah.
holding a camera up for like 2 days shooting a festival, shooting Gulf Coast. And it's like it's been debilitating, but I've been doing some like light exercises and just staying active, even though I can't really like lift or anything right now or do anything super physical. I just but yeah, like that's kind of funny that we say that, because that's actually something that's kind of like important to us as a band as a whole, is that we're actually like a pretty health conscious band. Like we I mean, of course, like any other band, when we go out on the road we do eat and stuff, but like you know like I'm the youngest guy in the band. I'm 35, and it's like we wake up and we eat breakfast and we get plenty of sleep, and you know what I mean? We take care of ourselves when we go out on the road. We don't really. I think when we went to Colorado, I was like, "Let's go to a bar," and the guys were like, "Why?" You know. Oh, but we stood out for like 2 hours, and then we like went back to the hotel. But like when we're not a very we're actually not like a huge party band. Like I mean, we smoke a little bit, but like we don't really like we're not like crazy. We're actually a pretty health conscious band. It looks like Frank's dog is like doing something over there.
No, I'm just seeing what my fucking drums that fell over, how that's looking.
Oh, word.
We're good. We're good.
You
I
guys,
picked one up. There's another one on the floor.
here's question 5 to round out the Furious 5. Joe, if you could make up an Olympic sport, what would it be?
Man, damn, I don't know. Um, come back to me on that one.
This is a pretty good question. Yeah.
What, Izzy, do you have an idea?
I can definitely do something with this. I would say bring back like gladiators, but like don't make the gladiator like pay him well. You know what I mean? Make sure he's trained well. Like it's not like he's like fighting for his life. Make sure that he like if we're gonna pay like NBA stars and like football stars, like let's pay somebody who's like really willing to die for some shit. You know what I mean? And like but I don't know, that would just kind of be that would just kind of be a spectacle of violence in itself. But I mean, um violence comes in many forms, I guess, So I mean, if we're gonna bring back something crazy, let's bring back that.
That's a cool suggestion.
Like it.
I didn't even think of it at all, but gladiators are cool. So, Frank,
If we're gonna,
Did you think of something yet, Joe?
so I was gonna say,
No?
have you all seen the? I don't know why it's slipping. Oh god, that movie with Ralph Macchio and he's playing guitar and he like versus like Steve Vai,
Crossroads, baby.
So like that kind of stuff, like guitar, like dual offs, that would be maybe something. But it's like they have to just kind of keep playing and like improvising off each other, and whoever falls off, like they're the loser. So
Yeah, like a game of horse
That's cool.
with the guitar. Yeah, I
Well,
like
like,
that.
can we make it to where like if you fall off you die? Like it's like you're shredding for your life. You know what I mean? I want it to be
If
more
you're in the
dramatic. You know what I mean? I want it
in the
to
Coliseum,
yeah, like
you
it's
get
just like
eaten by a lion if you fall off.
yeah,
Like, yeah.
I don't know. I watched Gladiator yesterday, so I'm just kind of fired up off that movie, I guess, maybe. Yeah,
It's a
it's
great
one of the
movie.
best. It's one of the best. Frank?
Frank.
I mean, I had one, but then I was like, I didn't want to be all like cliche, right? And then be like, yeah, let's do one about blast beats, nah, fuck that. But
Do it.
but realistically, let's do one that's like, not blast beats. So, but it's tour related and being in a band related, right? And that would have to be Doom Rider. Like, who could Doom ride the best? And if you don't know what Doom riding is, that's staying up all night and driving all fucking night to the next show because you got to drive overnight to get to the next city. And like, who could do that the best? And like, there would have to be like a point system where if you hit the line or how many times you got to stop, shit
Yeah,
like that, because that
definitely
ain't
a
no
stop.
joke to be able to do that safely and like professionally. Because in my band, when we're doing shit like that, there's one rule, and the rule is there's no hero shit. So the first time your eyelids start to close automatically, like you're done. You got to pull over immediately, no matter if there's an exit there or not. You're stopping. Like that's how it is in my band on tour. So like if you can actually stay awake, and I have like a fucking awesome system on like staying awake, works like really good. Uh, but yeah, that would be a good Olympic sport to see if fools could do that.
I like
Yeah.
that.
It's
Maybe
just
like
hard.
a
It's hard to
maybe like
do.
an obstacle course where they have to carry gear through.
Or yeah, that could be cool too. Yeah, like carrying gear
Yeah,
like upstairs and shit.
yeah, up the
8 by
stairs and
8 by 12 and shit like that. Like up and fucking.
sing.
Or they can't text and drive either.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, they can't text and drive. Yeah, or can't. Yeah,
That's awesome. Well, I tell you what, if you could find a way to assign gold medals to people who are good at driving and doing that long distance, man, like to be able to say, like, oh, our driver is an Olympic gold medalist in driving. Like, I
And
mean,
overnight drives.
yeah, it's the best of
The
the
trick,
best.
the trick is to just make it till the sun comes up. Because once the sun comes up, then you're okay.
Yeah, you're right. It's usually that the
yeah.
darkness causes you to.
If you can make it till the sun comes up, oh, you're golden. You could drive until about 11 a.m.
Yeah.
But yeah, you got to make it till the sun comes up.
Right. Yeah. I've been there. I know. Memories are
Yeah.
flooding in right now, of you saying all of that. So, guys, Furious 5, another reason why we don't call it the Fast 5 anymore is it's not so fast,
That's all good.
But we have fun, we laugh, we get to know you guys a little bit better, and I know we're going really long today, so I don't have anything else, guys. I'm just so grateful that you guys took some time out of your weekend to come hang out with us, and just
Okay.
let us put something out there so the world can get a little bit more metal in their blood, running through their veins, and man, I think Wound Stench is freaking gonna be a force to reckon with when you guys put out this new album, and I'm so excited for it. So everybody be listening, September time. Keep your eyes out, follow the block. We're gonna put that stuff out there. The thing I like to say is you guys are part of the family. Like when you guys share something, we share that same thing because we're trying to promote you guys like that. That's why we do the show. We do the show for the bands, not as much for the fans, but we love the fans too. But, the bands need support. The bands need a voice. And we hope that we could be a good voice for you guys. So if you ever need anything, we're there for you. And we want to just spread the love, spread the news of Wound
That's
Stench.
awesome, man.
So, man, we love you guys. Thank you
Absolutely.
again.
Thank you so
And
much. Yeah.
it means so much, man, to me. And, Izzy, with us getting a chance to meet you at the fest and also to have kind of
Yeah,
a
that was really
follow-up,
great.
dude, it's so awesome because, it's like we're already friends before the show. And one of the reasons why they go long
Yeah.
in stuff like this, because we talk a lot, so I hope
Oh,
everybody
dude, like trust me,
enjoys
if
it.
these
Yeah.
other two guys weren't here, this would be a 4-hour long episode. You know what I mean? It's
You
it's
know it,
these other
brother.
guys who gotta it's these other two guys who gotta tell me to stop talking. You know what I mean? We play samples between our songs just for that reason, because Frank's like, get out there and say our name and say this and say we got merch in the back, and please don't go on a rant. Please don't tell a story. Please don't. And I'll be like, all right, well, I'm gonna tell one story because this person's in the crowd, or I'm gonna shout out this person. But yeah, no, I'm for sure the guy who has to like cut it or be told to cut it, because if it's up to me, I'll just literally just keep talking. See, look at Joe's
They,
face. You know what I mean? He's
they
Oh,
gotta
like,
yeah.
start playing the walk-off
he
music
knows.
for you.
Yeah, playing the walk-off music. Applause.
Yeah.
Applause.
Or Frank will just hit that 4 count, and I'll know that it's time. Like I don't have a choice
And
at
say,
that
God,
end. It's like
I just stop him right there.
it's like when the Oscar speech runs too long, he'll just start hitting that 4 count, and I'll know that like I can't even finish my story. I just got to go into the whatever.
Hey, somebody's got to keep the train rolling down the track. So I get it. I get
Yeah.
it. But yeah, man, guys, it's been a blast. Like Izzy was saying, I can talk for hours. So thanks again. I'll shut up and I'll let Brandon say thank you.
Hey, just thanks. Looking forward to the new music when it comes out, and catching you guys live again soon. So just keep doing what you're doing.
Thanks for having us. Yeah, like I said, we got those shows coming
Oh,
up
yeah.
May 28th through the 31st. We're doing the Pacific Northwest and then Canada. We have a fest, or actually not a fest, but like we're playing a show out in Corpus too in July on the 25th. And then we also are doing a run in October, I think from the 8th through the 11th with our friends in the band The Posers. I think we're doing Houston, Austin, El Paso, and San Antonio. So yeah, please come and check us out. Again, thanks for
Oh
having
yeah.
us on this podcast. I really appreciate it, or we appreciate it.
Oh yeah, and
Oh yeah.
just try to do our best to promote you guys. So everybody out there, Wound Stench, do not miss out. Go see them if they're playing in your area. Read the comments, see when that's going to be coming up here in May. And until then, Metal Block, over and out.
Awesome, man. Later, guys.
Thank you so much.